Welcome back, everyone, to HRX and the Paladins World Championship 2018. We have some more semifinals action coming up in just a little bit. It's going to be Envy going up against Spacestation Gaming, and I'm super excited for that one. Joining us on the desk now, we got Kresnik and Bitey here with, of course, the Borker in the house.
You gotta put him on that little text at the bottom.
Yeah, really?
Where is it?
Where's the lower third for the Borker?
Oh,
Come on, guys. Let's get on it. All right, so how you doing, Bitey? How you feeling?
Oh man, was that a set to watch from the crowd? I mean, it's so much to talk about, like when to pick Grok, when not to pick Grok. And like, it's this balancing act. Sometimes he really does well, and other times not so much.
Yeah, it really is. And you would think that Grok would work out really well in Bright Marsh, but that was the map that Grok lost, yet Grok wins Ascension Peak. What a time to be alive here, folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing. But this matchup, though, I want to shift our focus to, is going to be awesome. It is a battle of the Americas. I was thinking about this all night, Bitey.
Yeah.
All night. I was up late thinking, what am I going to call this? We got to, if Fnatic and Na'Vi, Kresnik, are the EU Classic, we need a cool name for this one. So it's the Battle of the Americas. Not the Americano. It's not a coffee,
It's gonna wake me up, though.
Okay, hey, there you go. Battle of the Americano. Okay, well, we're just gonna, why not?
Yeah, well, you don't
we're
have
gonna
to.
roll with it. Okay, I like it. All right, so this is gonna be a great game here. We got Spacestation Gaming, Team Envy. Envy looking so dominant, but Spacestation Gaming, this Brazilian squad, have been so impressive, and they have one of the best players in the game, FRZ God.
Yeah, he is an insane blaster. I mean, and he's super flexible beyond that, too. I mean, he can play almost anything I've seen get thrown to him. He has been able to play absolutely, high tier, like the best player on that character, honestly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, like what this guy's capable of doing here. Now, on the other side, though, Envy, that's just a practice squad that know each other very, very well. Bitey, you're familiar with this Envy roster. And this is footage of Spacestation Gaming, but let's just talk about, everything here. Let's talk about FRZ God. Let's talk about Envy.
I mean, when you're looking at fighting against Envy, you're not fighting against one player. You're fighting against their whole squad. There's not really anybody on that lineup that you consider weak or like a piece that might, give with some pressure. They're all trained veterans, and they've been accustomed to winning with their style. I mean, you look at how they won against their Kanga yesterday. They pulled out a lot of different Eevee, and they even picked the Fernando first, which is something that's a little bit rare. They're offering to give up that Anara and play their own type of game that they have practiced for and trained for.
Yeah, it's just awesome to see these players really just not necessarily conform to the meta, but just make their own meta within their own team, what they like to play, how they like to play the game. But for now, though, I actually want to hear from the players themselves, and I do believe that we have someone over at the stage with members of Envy and Spacestation Gaming. Let's find out.
Well, I'm here with Meta Pusher from Envy, the coach that has led this team to success and helped see through some of the most impressive Paladins we've gotten to see all year. And I just want to know, I mean, coming into this set, how are you and the team feeling?
We're feeling great. I was a little bit sick this evening, but as soon as I saw this stage, saw the lights, everything, it all just settled. We're so excited to be here and really prove ourselves.
I saw your tweet saying no hugs from the coach today, like we're going to have to stay at about this distance apart to be safe, but everything that's been going great for you guys, I mean, you were able to have wild success at Vegas, which was a big surprise, I think, for everyone coming in, then a relatively successful summer, as well as a great fall split. Coming into this, Space Station Gaming has been a bit of a surprise team for everyone. Everyone knew they were good, but they didn't know they were this good. Do you think they're going to be able to push you guys to the limit, or do you think you still have a good lid on this?
I think we have a good lid on it, but I do think they have the potential to push us to the limit. It may have been a surprise to everyone else, but we scrim Space Station a lot when they're on, they're scrimming us from Brazil to NA servers, and they're able to compete with us on that. So I expect this to potentially go all the way.
Dredge has been a pretty big pick, and I actually kind of want to get your thoughts. I don't know whether your team is going to pull it out at any point, but with the way he's been pulled out, he hasn't been finding a lot of success from a lot of these teams, doing well himself, but always losing in the game. Do you think, as a champion, he is going to be able to bring something new to the table, like maybe Random Noob can play it, or do you think it's something that just isn't quite there yet?
It's definitely something that we've practiced and we have in our wheelhouse if the opportunity arises, but it is a very niche pick, and you need the perfect comp, the perfect map for it all to work out, and it is just a big risk. There's a lot of champions that do the same job as him and a lot safer.
Well, that's good to hear from you guys. Good to see that everyone's going. I see hexakills popping up as everyone's getting their aim set up, but that is going to be it for Meta Pusher right now going into this. Envy are going to be going up against SSG. Let's go back to the desk as they break it down.
Thank you so much, Gormizer. That was with Meta Pusher. Meta Pusher, I miss him dearly. He was here with us last year. But now we got Kresnik, so we're good. We got Krez.
We got an upgrade.
Everyone
you can listen to that, Meta.
Grab Kresnik.
Don't pull me into this. I do not want the wrath of Meta Pusher. And I think he can hear me.
Yeah, and maybe I learned so much from him last year when I was coming in to doing my first ever Paladins event. I was super excited to work with him, work with you, work with Bees. You guys taught me all so much about this game, and awesome to see Meta Pusher right there with his team this year in a really great position to go to the grand finals. Splitstone Quarry will be map 1, very reminiscent of what we saw in the EU Classic between Fnatic and Na'Vi. Bitey.
Well, I always like going to the quarry. There's some rocks to be mined back there. You know, I remember I told you my grandfather worked there. You know,
I thought your grandfather worked at Timber Mill.
No, I worked at Timber Mill.
Oh, you worked at
my father worked at Timber Mill. My grandfather worked at the quarry.
So your grandfather worked at the quarry.
That's right.
Your father worked at Timber Mill.
That's right.
What about your mother? Where was she at?
She's doing motherly things.
Motherly things. Okay. we're gonna find
She's
this out.
probably watching.
Or maybe she's chilling at Serpent Beach.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Daytime version, not nighttime version. You know, you don't want to be out there in the darkness. All right, here we go, guys. Picks and bans for the Battle of the Americanos. You like that? Envy versus Space Station Gaming, and Envy aren't gonna go for the first ban here. Let's see what they decide to do. It's going to be Andy going out first.
I think that's a respect to FRZ on SSG. I mean, Andy is like a questionable ban sometimes, but usually when you ban him, there's a reason to do it. There's usually a potent Androxus on the other team, and his ability to like snake his way through the map to your backline and do a lot of damage. We saw that yesterday on Serpent Beach. I mean, he can just open up all sorts of plays, and that's really what they're probably banning him out for.
And they left Makoa open too. SSG banning Torv and Nando. Nando, I think, more directed towards Envy and Rubu's just absolute domination on that champion.
No reason for you not to go for Makoa here if it's available.
Oh, absolutely. I think you take it in almost every situation.
Welcome here.
Again, this is like Envy being comfortable with giving up that Anara, isn't it? We saw it yesterday with the Fernando and occasionally before it, and now they've gone for the Makoa. I think Makoa is probably one of those weighted picks, like you take it kind of anytime it's free, unless you have a real big brain plan hidden underneath.
Yeah. Ruckus and the EV locked in for Envy. SSG going with the safe picks of Anara and Ying. We're going to see some diving in the back lines with Eevee potentially, Ruckus, lots of sustain in the mid. Then you get Ash who gets locked in for Space Station Gaming. That kind of settles the front line there.
I like Envy taking the Eevee and banning the Androxus because this is kind of, it's more respect towards FRZ God. This is denying him the flanks that are the most influential on this map. The flanks with the vertical mobility, or the meta ones that are. They could still play Maeve, but she doesn't really thrive right now in this meta.
So who does FRZ God take here?
I think he could go Leon, but he's hyper flexible. I really think it's going to depend on what Space Station is looking for here.
Yeah.
A big thing that I noticed with the Makoa and Ruckus is that's kind of an older combination where you hook somebody into that Ruckus damage and he can shred a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of combo play here that Victor and Eevee are going to be looking to work off.
Yes.
Sky?
Yes.
Bite to your face.
No, I'm not. I don't know why you're so shocked, Bitey. It's into Makoa. This guy's so good.
Yeah,
into Makoa.
It's still Sky.
It is still Sky.
It's
You're right.
Sky. I did this once in a finals for qualifying somewhere, and it didn't work out very well. It was Stolzy even called it out once. Stolzy, I know you're out there. So, he always wanted to play Sky.
So traumatizing. You don't even remember. All right, let's get some picks here. Kresnik, who is it?
I think Makoa and Ruckus on split is going to be too good. Envy.
Okay, Envy.
Yeah, you're looking at Envy. Because of the Makoa and Ruckus, the reveal in Rockets, it leads a lot.
All right, well, let's take it over to Rain Day and Pretty Hair. Guys, who do you think is going to win?
Well, I mean, I can't bet against the lovely ladies there. SSG have an all-female composition, and, you know,
True.
hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and I think that Makoa, Ruckus, and especially Victor are in some trouble. What do you think, Nick?
I think they bring up a good point about the reveal cards. You know, you got to have a lot of things built, certainly, but you only have so many options.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's going to be something included here. And, you know, that's not something you see very often or something that you really need a lot of. It's not going to be the make or break, certainly, but I like this from SSG. I think these are the types of risks you're going to have to take to beat Envy.
Either way, we have a battle of the Americanos, as Golden Boy so aptly put. Aries will be moving into the Debilitate Sky, a rare pick. But either way, this is going to be a set to remember, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Envy from North America and Space Station Gaming, the underdogs that are looking a lot more favorable the more they get that FRZ God on the champions he wants. Heading out on game one, Splitstone Court.
Semifinals, Space Station Gaming in January at the World Tournament. Didn't even really make it out of the first couple of rounds. Envy weren't even there, so this is a heavy-hitting, never-before-seen matchup to have in the semifinals. We're very excited for this guy. Riding along with Aries, of course, he's going to be looking to just land these poke mid-range shots onto these frontliners. Maybe these PC players picked up a thing or two from the console wars.
Say hello. Those poison bolts do not have a very fun meeting of Rubu and his health pool at first sight, so we'll have to figure out how to stay a little bit safer in terms of getting exposed to that, and that's what Sky and Aries are trying to do all this game. 57% counting for Space Station. That kill on the Makoa was huge.
Yeah, and this is just something I don't think Rubu's going to be super used to playing against. He's going to adjust. It's just a matter of when. Envy are a team that have got to be adaptable if they're going to survive at this tournament. The shield goes up and Sky is down, so now he has free reign.
It's kind of smart, right? They give the Makoa, he can go ancient rage, but Debilitate as well as Big Game both cancel those out. And it's an incredible performance by SSG, but Team Envy, just like that, pull it back. Tolkien, he's been a big star for this roster. And he's not just slapping his butt, he's actually emoting, trying to see around the corners, but it is what it is.
Two birds, one stone.
There it is.
Space Station Gaming, 99% on the objective. Everyone's scouted out here. FRZ God up on the high ground, continuing to try and find some pressure here. Random Noob been a little bit quiet. This could go either way, though. A shot from either squad. Ying is going to pop the illusory rift and top him right back
Big
up.
kill, Nick. That's SSG starting to take control. It's Tolkien diving in, Hexafire here. Tries to find something. It's going to get a kill, but Rachao, he is there. He finishes off the Ruckus, the Mech, and the Goblin. Although they're on home court advantage, can't do anything to the visitors here from Brazil. Overtime ticks away, and SSG grab objective number one.
I'll be honest, where was Rock Monkey during all of that?
A little quiet.
Who was really
Little
pressuring
quiet.
him? I mean, I was like, oh, there's an EV in this match. Wait, they're teammates here. I mean, there really shouldn't have been anyone that's pressuring out Rock. That's something that obviously he'll get a little bit better as he gets his cauterize online, but you saw earlier when Mutu is allowed to just sit on the high ground. Victor's going to do something similar. And later in the game, I expect Rock Monkey to hit. It needs to have a much bigger impact.
And what's interesting is we haven't seen Victor do pretty well on this map, although I think he's a great character for it. The Vivians beat him every time, and now the Sky, maybe even a better damage pick than him. Aries has been piloting it well. Maybe bring up some of the KDAs and see how much he's actually fallen, because I think I haven't seen him die much. It's only 2 deaths.
Look at that, goose eggs across the board.
There you go.
0-0-0.
And I think Rock Monkey and Rubu as well, holding down this team as far as the front line and the damage, but the Debilitate's just going to keep Rubu thinking about something else. It isn't the big game Cassie like I thought, though, Nick. It is Impulse.
That's what it is.
Which is
so
strange.
weird. I guess that's probably what he's worried about there.
Wow.
I mean, he can put on some good burst damage on a Rock Monkey across the top rope, so to speak, but it still, I don't think, excuses the 0-0-0 slash line here. Rock Monkey has got to find a way to get involved. He's the star fragger for his team. Got to start acting like it.
Everyone knows this is going to be a set that probably lasts a while. Rubu goes on the Ancient Rage. Can you wait until this Debilitate comes out? Watch this health pool in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I think the wall blocked it, but now 3,000 health getting slowly healed back up. It's going to be a sustain. The shield is there as his only respite, but a minute left, and SSG keep closing him down.
It's just so spiky, and you know this is going to keep Mr. Hayes on his toes. He's going to be looking at no one but Rubu.
Yep.
Trying to keep this anti-heal online, though, to keep Makoa down. Just doesn't quite add up. 50 seconds on the clock here. 3 kills for Team Envy in the defense. Starts to look a little bit more stable.
This is the story we talked about, the confidence of this SSG squad. They are here not just to win semis and say, hey, we had a good run. They want to win worlds. And Sean Duras, their owner for Space Station Gaming, in the back saying that's our goal. And you can tell that it's just infiltrated kind of the cohesive ideology of these players. They are going with picks that are odd, but playing it with so much confidence. And Aries of Sky is actually looking like a big threat to Rubu.
At this stage, nobody wants to show up unless they plan on going all the way. 16 seconds left on the clock here. 1 1-0. Spacestation Gaming lead, looking for the conversion here. There's a couple of ultimates for either side. First pick goes over to Random Noob.
There's Time Bomb Sky saying hello to her friends. FRZ God can't quite find the angle, but Debilitate. Save for the Turtle. Shield goes down. Turtle goes down. It's just Ruckus and Tolkien trying to hold it on the front line, but SSG are going to go and just walk it in. There's nothing this Eevee can do. She blinks away to save her own life. Daps across the board because they are 2-0 up in game one.
Have an answer for everything. I mean, this Debilitate Sky is handling the front line. Impulse Cassie is going to put on big damage to the squishier backlines. The people that Ares aren't worried about, that's FRZ God, and everyone's hitting their mark. 5-3, 4-2. I actually kind of want to take a peek at some of the loadouts for Team Envy, specifically Victor and Ruckus. There's a couple of reveal cards that I think we need to be looking for in these loadouts because those are going to be super critical. Taking a little look now at Victor.
Predator 2.
Predator 2, so 2-second reveal if you're able to hit somebody while ADS as Victor. I also want to take a quick peek over at Toki's loadout on the Ruckus. He also has at the ready 1. So those are 2 ways that they can look to deal with the Sky a little bit more. Random Noobs picking up Illuminate to help make Ares easier to spot, but I mean, I don't really know that he's trying to be super sneaky. He's kind of just sitting at mid-range doing his thing.
That's the thing, and that's the difference we've seen in terms of these Sky playstyles. Debilitate is much more of a mid-range damage dealer, and obviously adding that extra bullets in the clip have made a big difference, especially on console. But now here in the big stage for PC, it is really betting it all on a champion that has not proven her success yet. It's Rock Monkey who's trying to fight back from being under pressure yet again, and Ares FRZ got clean up too.
This is just messy. It's just messy from Envy. I mean, the Dread Serpent, yes, it hits Sky, but there's no one there to follow up. You can see some Makoa tries to get in there later. He doesn't even know where she got feared off to. He doesn't know if she's stealth. It's just not syncing up right now for Envy. Spacestation Gaming with a 99-0 lead right now over Envy.
They got to get this kill. FRZ God has to go down. This should do it. That's what Shrapnel brings to the table, and now that's a kill onto Sadak. Random Noob, that bad man coming in for 2. Gonna find not the 3rd, an elimination there. Rock Monkey will get credit for that. Now Envy can zone. This is an opportunity for them to just show a little bit of momentum in this game. Envy fans not feeling very confident here in game 1.
Looking for the dismounts. You can see the math equations flying out of Rock Monkey's brain on stage. He's probably just watching respawn timers, counting to 3, and throwing that grenade up over the top there. Locked down onto the support mids out. Does not make it back to the objective. Time Bomb goes out. It looks like Makoa is going to be able to fight here, but he does eat some poison bolts. Ancient Rage to sponge.
Big time stuff from Envy. They hold. It's going to be SSG moving back. Objective captured. Now Envy are on the board. And Random Noob, you got to say, he just isolated so many good targets there. And the fact that Ares went down before the Ancient Range meant that Rubu had all the time he wanted with that 10k HP.
And that's really rough for SSG. Obviously, comeback mechanic, that's what allows Envy to flip that so quickly. That's why I think they can feel a little bit better about how aggressive they got, right? Even if they lose Random Noob or somebody out there on that zone, every second for them is worth so much because they did have that comeback mechanic and they were capturing faster than SSG were capturing.
Oh my God, big turnaround from Ares there. This has been fantastic to see all these players just showing up big, and this is going to be a set that a lot of players thought, especially on the side of European Fanatics and Navis, that just featured FRZ God and his brilliance, also just would go toe-to-toe. Both these teams evenly matched in many ways. Envy, with all the preparedness in the world, SSG kind of surprising people with their good performances and just stellar ability to combat situations like that. No fear.
Love seeing that. The poison goes off before the dredge anchor, and then Makoa's dead on arrival. The second Sky gets there. She's actually in the clear. Ultimate for Envy. This is the corner, though. This is what is going to be most difficult for them to break for SSG. Random Noob is probably going to look to get up and over the top, kind of like he did the first time. Maybe look for that pick on the mid-tower again. I don't know. That's always a good way to start.
Minute 9. Trying to get on the hold. Spacestation Gaming have had the upper hand advantage. There's a nice swarm from Random Noob. Big kill. Finds Ares. Going to soar out as well. Ruben getting low. Random Noob trying to apply the pressure. He will. He's going to blink in, blink out, get that flicker healing from the loadout cards, and now he's going to just wait to buy some time. Long range shot. Can't hit. Now he's under pressure. Rachao on the Inara cleaning it up. SSG, the second you think it's FRZ God and Ares you got to worry about, Rachao finds the kill.
Evie giving us her best emoji impression there in her ice block. 40 seconds. Now on the clock here, still struggling though. Envy have a long way to go, and Splitstone is one of the harder maps to convert on. So it's not a big deal, right? It's not a failure by any means if Envy do not get this conversion through. But they do have to keep pace with Space Station, who did manage to get a conversion on their offense in the prior round. So that means they're up for the defensive point. That means they could go up 3-1 with just holding here.
A couple of kills here, Nick. You start betting ultimates. This is where it starts to get dicey because you have 15 seconds. There's a lot of room to move, but here's the stagger. It's another 13 seconds ahead of obviously the Cassie, who's out now. So Team Envy have done a good job. If they can find a kill here, they can keep that man advantage. Random Noob, so much is going to be onto him. Very small health pool, smallest in all of Paladins. But overtime ticking, he's going to have to make a lot work with it.
He's really, honestly, this poke is really starting to add up on Ash. I think Random Noob might go for the throat here.
Ooh, misses.
Changes targets up onto Sky there. Won't find any damage on her. Overtime, and this is where we'll start to see ultimates pop. And here comes the Ying ultimate, so that's on the table. They want to get it done.
Envy are trying to push this through, but Space Station Gaming are saying no. Random Noob says hello, but he finds another kill and says hello to FRZ God right back after that. Rachel, the double kill for Random Noob, goes for the Ice Storm. Envy want to push this one in, Nick. It's overtime, but they are looking good.
I mean, he's just doing everything. He is the Swiss Army knife of Team Envy at the moment here. He's finding picks on the support. He's taking down the Sky. He is locking everyone down with his Ice Storm. It's his second Ice Storm in the past couple of minutes. Time Bomb comes out. Rubu just sidesteps behind the payload, and Envy just will not stop.
Dread Serpent from Mr. Hayes. Everyone is bet. The gamble is on, and now SSG are betting their ultimates. Rachel still with the seismic crash, trying to hold on to something for next round, as well as FRZ God with the scout, but they're all falling. Tolki with a couple of kills. Rock Monkey gets in on the action, and here's Shrapnel Grenade. He finds the angle yet again. FRZ God is one bullet away, and it's Sadak who's trying to hold on, but the defense is not successful. Envy tie it right back up.
Small silver linings for SSG is that they did force Envy to spend those ultimates. It wasn't free for them to get that conversion. But they do tie up the game at the end of the day. Big ultimates used for them. Obviously, the Ancient Rage being down is a big story. Random Noob, the fact that he is even in the ballpark of Rock Monkey's victor right now is incredible.
Yeah, that is insane.
15-8. I give all credit for that conversion to him because he got it going. He kept that momentum up from that first little corner victory all the way through to the end.
His poke was so valuable, as you mentioned earlier on. And now obviously we see a rare sight. FRZ God with a negative KD. 5 and 6, I believe, last time I saw. 5 and 7. Actually has to go into the blast shields for the defense. It's forced.
I think that's partly to do with Random Noob. Honestly, he realizes it's not a good matchup for me. Why am I fighting it? And he's honestly just sat on the front lines and made their day hell. He's locking down the support. He's just staying away from the guy who's supposed to be hunting him.
So Ares finds Rock Monkey here. It's a trade of damage. Mr. Hayes, though, finding Sadak. And now if Ares can stay alive, hold that thought, Mr. Hayes says, not on my watch as well. He's excited to contribute where supports can. And that's sometimes that last hit. But Tolki finishes off FRZ God, who continues to struggle here against this lineup. Rachel just trying to find the angle. And Random Noob poking him out again.
Never leaving off the gas pedal here. Still holding on to that Ice Star. Maybe looking, hunting for Matau, who does have the Illusory Rift available. That's going to be a big thing. Really the only thing that SSG can look to use to win this fight.
I wonder if they'll be able to get back. I mean, it's Time Bomb will clear him away, Nick, but there's really not much else. Noob's doing a great job here. Illusory Rift. Matau is going to stay alive. Oh boy, and FRZ God finds a response kill. Now do you bet the Time Bomb? They can zone them out, but there's I don't know about that, Nick.
A little early there.
Little early, huh?
I think so, yeah. Space Station have a long way to go. Ares quick on the trigger, lands his poison bullets, but just gets obliterated. Tolki doing a good job playing this Ruckus. Honestly, he's gone pretty under the radar, but I feel he's been very impactful as well.
A couple of mistakes there. That's an easy one to point out. That Time Bomb could have been great right now, but Ares kinds of tries to blow it all, both literally there and figuratively in terms of his effort to get that Time Bomb to explode onto Team Envy, but it's just too early. They don't take the bait, and now it looks like they're going to go up 3-2 and challenge Space Station Gaming here in Game 1 to take this one and bring it home for North America.
I think the biggest thing that we're seeing here is the efficacy of Random Noob past half court. He's able to keep pressure on SSG when they're really just trying to sit back and wait for the rest of their team. That's something that Space Station's comp just isn't allowing them to do. You might say, yeah, Sky's a flanker, but we've made it very clear from the first minute that Ares is playing for mid-range and he's just looking to melt these frontliners. There's too many things that are going to reveal him, so he can't afford to dive the enemy back line.
And I think that's why you saw Sanak earlier on actually try to dive that back line, but last I checked, he uses assert dominance to defend. and it didn't actually work. So he went in without his ultimate. He couldn't buy the necessary time. And there's a time bomb. Look at how fast he's charging that thing up, by the way. Finds a double kill, though, in the back with it. And that's at least getting some for your trouble. But Rubu, with an Ancient Rage in response, going to find FRZ God and now put Rachao in a difficult spot.
Just kind of brawling skirmishing here, both these teams. Not accomplishing much in this fight. If anything, it's, you know, when people die on Team Envy, they do get to go home, they get to spend some of those credits, get closer and closer to the later stages of the game, and this is what we needed to see from Rock Monkey as well. Remember how he's 0-0-0 after what was a fairly lengthy first point fight as well. He has definitely stepped up. He is resurgence to the top of the damage charts and continued to be effective here later on in the game.
He's gone 2-2 in this round. It's really not been about him. He found that beautiful shrapnel find, and that's the benefit of Victor. And if anybody's going to pilot this well, I think it is Rock. We've seen issues when you look at Fnatic playing it, when you see Virtus Pro playing it. Everyone going against Navi. Mudu has been able to kind of take advantage of them, but Rock Monkey staying in the back line. Aries and Random Noob trading out with 2 kills, but Aries gets the front line, so that's probably a little bit more dynamic. But look at this. All of SSJ are pushed too far forward. Team Envy are actually pushing this payload.
Quietly making progress here. Random Noob on the EV pressure, and now I think Vital smells it out. He's going to get back onto the payload and try and drop down, but can he really go toe-to-toe here with Random Noob?
My God.
He certainly cannot, and that's going to be yet another kill in the pocket of the Winter Witch.
The question is, how big is this EV bank going to be in this set now? Because Random Noob clearly is a god on this champion, and so is FRZ god.
Yeah, that's the cool thing though about this best of 7. I think if you're Envy, you can let him get it a game and see how he's feeling on it today. And then figure out, is this something powerful enough to ban? Do we need to be worried about this going forward?
And vice versa. And boy, oh boy, would Random Noob stop bullying Aries? It feels like every time he goes in stealth, Random Noob is right there, and he's trying to take down this guy. It's amazing target prioritization from this 1-2 punch with him and Rock Monkey here. Overtime taking away Envy. It's time to hit the gas pedal. Tolkien finds one. Random Noob, he picks up another. Rock Monkey gets in. Everybody on Envy's getting in on the action. Nick Tolkien with another double, and that's game 1 going to Envy.
One after the other, double, toil and trouble. The famous line from the Winter Witch here. I loved what I saw from Random Noob. He's doing everything right. He's prioritizing the right targets, staying away from the right targets, playing safe angles, and very rarely getting caught out there. I mean, he's like probably 17-8 roughly at the end of the game. I think really, really good stuff from him. Clearly something that SSG have to be worried about going forward.
We saw, you know, Navi and Fnatic have this 4-0, 4-1, 4-0, 4-0. Obviously, Navi taking that one. But now it's like there's a 2-0, 2-0. And in the set, these two teams are battling. It feels like this is not only going to be a game kind of back and forth, it's going to be an internal back and forth within the game. These two teams so evenly matched. Let's send it back to the desk and break down game 1.
Thank you so much, fellas. And Envy are able to secure the win on Splitstone Quarry. And it wasn't looking good for them at first, but big plays from the EV really opened things up and allowed them to be able to get the control on point and, most importantly, just drag that payload to the end there. Envy just, when you count them out, I've done this. I was like, oh boy, maybe this is going to be Spacestation Gaming. And then Envy just find a way to win.
Yeah, they started reading the aggression that SSG was trying to do, like the way they went to stem the pushes, like rotating into Quarry on the later mids, or knowing that they were going to be really aggressive on the zone, so they put both DPSs around the side, start getting on the cart. DNR was like, oh. I got to do something about that, and then they just melt her while they come back. They just started reading SSG like a book later in the game.
Yeah. What I really saw is it was kind of like the early game power of Skies coming through. You got a Ying, she can get that pocket, she can get in, she can do some aggression, and there's not really anything that's going to like immediately stop that Ying reset health that she's going in with. So like as you go through the game, it's like, oh man, my tanks are getting melted. Rubu's like, oh man, this stuff hurts. Toki's like, it hurts. But on the second point, you see everybody's all like, all right, we're fighting a Sky. We've done this before. We need to remember what's going on. And then as the game kept progressing, Eevee started getting cauterized. And that's really, I think, where the difference started coming in, is now the Ying's not able to pocket, and now Random's just putting this damage in that is sticking for a really long time.
Yeah, they were like, we fought a Sky at this random tournament, and Bitey played the Sky. We remember exactly what was. All right, here we go. Post-game stats here. Had to bring it back. We have, I mean, Tolkien, 20 kills for him. Random Noob, 19. I mean, just that alone right there just shuts him out. And it was nice that, you know, the Sky was able to be as effective in the kill column as possible, but ultimately didn't really amount to all that much besides like the early game, as you guys had mentioned before. So anything else you see here that you kind of take away from it, or is it kind of by the books?
I'd say the stats look about normal. Sky dying a lot, but having a ton.
I was just thinking.
You were literally thinking that.
I'm like, about normal. Dies a lot.
Yeah, that's normal. 15, like that's respectable. I mean, she also got about even damage to what you'd expect. I mean, she does like 1,000, 2,000 per right click, something absurd like that. So across the scale, the whole game, like 110k.
Yeah. So about what we were expecting out of that one, but let's find out who our MVP is, presented by Steel Series. Kind of got a little spoiler right there. It's going to be Random Noob, and yes, this guy was the human highlight reel this entire game, flying in and out. Players had no idea what to do. This Ashe is getting hit, and just like, what's going on? Why am I taking damage? Oh wait, it's an Eevee who blinked behind you.
Yeah, she was able to perfectly clean up on all the damage that Rock Monkey was doing, that Telki was doing, and she was even able to go in and sometimes just soften up targets for Telki to get finishes with the rockets.
And I'd just like to say that, like, this is like the tier of Eevee that it takes to perform at this high level. So many people think that they can just pull out these Eevees and, you know, just perform, but it takes these players of this caliber, like Random Noob, like Fishiko, like Frozen, you know, to really show you how strong she can be and how much it's more about a mental game of how deep can I go, how many shots can I get, and when do I need to get out?
Yeah, and I think that based on that, would we potentially see more Eevee in game 2, 3, 4, and beyond? Like, do you think we'll see Eevee in game 2, perhaps?
I think it's going to be map dependent, but I do think both teams have a big tendency to pull her out. You know, Random, obviously, as we just saw, great Eevee. Freeze God, as we've seen before, exceptional Eevee. I wouldn't be shocked to see her, but I think it's going to really depend on the map that I believe Space Station picks, being the lower seed here.
Yeah. I think they're going to pick Eevee a lot. You saw it on Ascension. They just pulled it out 2 times yesterday and kind of like, position. Well, there we go. Yeah. Maybe an Ascension Eevee game.
Maybe, who knows?
Maybe an Ascension Grok game.
I think these guys feel that pick so well, and they have these top-tier players to do it. I think you're going to almost try to see her every set, or at least maybe ban once they figure out how much they can take from each other.
Clearly, these players are playing this particular champion at a level that it's kind of feeling like it's going to be necessary in all of their games with how their play styles are kind of counteracting one another. But Ascension Peak will be game 2, and we saw some pretty interesting stuff in game 2 that ended up working in the Na'Vi Fnatic matchup, most notably the Grok, the Flying Shaman. I mean, I doubt we see that again here.
Yeah, it's not something that I think either of these teams would have practiced. I think they would be focusing more on traditional stuff across the board. But I think what SSG wants here is, I think they want Ares on a backline. I think that's where he thrives more than anything, and they want to find a flanker that FRZ will be playing like priority on.
And they're eliminating the
aggressive tanks.
So, yeah, they're eliminating the aggressive tanks, but one tank is still available. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. I didn't look. My Alienware laptop was actually blocking part of the ban there, and I saw that Khan was banned. All right, well, the tank that ended up staying alive was Makoa, though, so Makoa does come into the play yet again.
I'm curious where they're going with these 4 tanks, because there's a potential that somebody might be forced into a questionable decision of whether I get a second tank or another DPS. Now, I think Envy might be thinking about we should get a Nara, or are we comfortable fighting it again? And I think that's something that they're going to consider a lot. Like, are they going to grab her?
Well, one thing about this Ruckus pick that Envy's doing right now, Ruckus is going to be, I think, for the rest of this event, is going to be a really key pick. Envy, Rubu, and Telki can both play it at a very high level. SSG, Sadak loves Ruckus, and Na'Vi, Phoenix loves Ruckus. Like, so there's all this. I think there's going to be a lot of key Ruckus pick, maybe even ban in some sense.
A Nara not picked here for Envy, just Ruckus picked up. That leaves a Nara open for SSG to snag.
I feel like there's a little bit of similarity here between the theory that's going on with what we saw G2 attempt to do and what Envy's actually managing to do. Because again, it's this low priority on the Inara that we're seeing, and it looks like they're just kind of like, no, take the Inara, take the Inara.
I dare
so
you.
it's like, like, you know, there it goes. So it's like they pick Andy and Ruckus over her. They have a game plan set up here for, they just beat the NR on the last game too, except they did have Makoa, but
That's the thing.
Bitey, hear me out. Sky.
another Sky for Envy.
The Makoa and Aura. That's what you want when you're playing Sky. Whether this is a map, I mean, we just said Grok was not going to be good on this map, and then it was. But
I mean, Grok was okay.
Chris is just throwing all the, he's throwing it all out there.
I think you need to bring it back down. I don't know about the Sky out here, you know, adjust the tie.
Is that a yikes from you, bud?
Yikes, I wouldn't. It's Sky, you know. She just lost, man.
Well, I tell you what, if Sky gets picked, this chat is going to go nuts because I saw everyone spamming those Sky stickers. So I don't know if the world's ready for that yet. They break the mixer chat again. So Leanne is snagged for SSG.
this makes sense to me. They want,
Maldamba.
yeah, I don't think they want, I'm not sure if they want.
This is a great looking draft though with
yeah.
the Makoa. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely. And this way they have a backline for Freeze God and Ares. So they have
And
like
the Drogo.
Right.
No Sky here, but we're taken to the Sky with Drogo. So you know what that means. Space Whales in the chat. All right, so let's get a pick here. What do we got, Krez?
I'll give it to SSG for this one. I think the double backline kite ability, the rotation ability they have, I think it's going to give them the edge this game.
Bitey?
I always go with my emotions here, and I like to support the home turf. I think Envy's got a great draft.
Okay, well, the desk is split. The score is 1-0 in favor of Team Envy. Let's send it back over to Rain Day and Pretty Hair to call the action for Game 2.
Thank you, Alex. It's going to be an exciting one here. I think both teams have a great draft. We're going to see Leon most likely in the hands of FRZ God. And then that bad man, Random Noob, going to be on that Drogos as well. This should be a nice matchup.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it as well. One thing that I feel SSG are doing, which ended up working out for them okay here, is they are picking a little bit more on comfort, it feels like, than maybe necessarily what is most appropriate for the situation here. I don't know if they're comfortable with Grok, but I mean, if there was ever a lineup to run Grok into, it feels like it would be Barricking and Ruckus. So many things to just bounce off of for absolutely free. I like these matchups, though. The Impulse Cassie as well as FRZ got on Leon to be able to just put the hands up and survive against the ropes, against Rock Monkey's pressure.
You know, one thing I will disagree with just initially is that I really would rather see big game from SSG. They haven't incorporated it much. They played it a couple games early. It worked. They switched the Impulse mid through the tournament and haven't really brought up big game since, and I just like it. I think it's just the best. And honestly, I know you get some burst, but boy, would I rather have 1100 burst on tanks when I really want that point fight to go my way. Already a combustible starting off things strong. Follow the sense, so the anti-heal is there, 36% for Space Station Gaming.
There it is, and it's going to be so hard to hold this. This is really just too free for Random Noob. You can see the reposition comes out for SSG, but things continuing to land here. Remember, 75% anti-heal by whoever gets hit by that fire spit. You can see these health bars on these tanks are not exactly exploding back up as the anti-heal comes out of the gate.
Ares going to be on the Cassie, but he's going to get pressured out. Tolkien with the rockets cleans it up for Team Envy, and so now they're 48%. They have a chance to push. Nice hook there. Tried to get the body block. The advance is going to go through, and he doesn't have the room to get out. Sadok's going to find it, and that's plenty of time for SSG to get back. They're not far away from the point. Now Rachao is making his entrance again.
Big lead, though, on the objective. Dredge Anchor at the ready. Who does he want? Sadok.
Go for it.
End up going fishing there. Barrack shield goes down. Barrack falling extremely low here, and the pressure just from the fire spit is relentless on the objective. SSG are struggling to capture this lead here against Envy.
And now he's got the Dragon Punch. Watch out for Random Noob when he gets going. He found himself the target, and it is the Inara. She's going to hide in the corner, and he's going to keep her there. 99% for Envy. They're going to turn it to 100, and that bad man again finds the right spot for his Rockets.
It's not really the best spot to retreat to either for Inara. If anything, you know, you force him to come outside where your teammates can counter and maybe get the kill. I think either way, it's still going to go the way of Envy that time around. But Rachao, the only real counterplay that he can provide to that Dragon Punch is dying in a spot where they can kill the Drogos after the fact.
True. And now Envy with a really good retake and a really good seed of the objective. FRZ God yet to really get going here. I feel like Sadok is playing a little bit scared. But I think that's just credit to Tolkien and Rubu and the prowess that they've shown. Tolkien, such a great flex player, and honestly, I love his demeanor and what he brings to this Envy squad as they stagger out a little bit to make sure that Envy can't get back. A minute and 40 still, though, Nick. And how do you like SSG starting out?
I think it's definitely rough. I mean, they got punished heavily by the fire spits early on, and then beyond that, there wasn't a good audible. There wasn't a good plan B of like, okay, where do we put pressure on this map outside of that fact? So I think SSG have to either recognize that we can't just sit here and hold this corner. We either need to get aggressive out of the gate, get in the faces of Team Envy, or we have to just completely go for a different style of approach to the point.
Lack of maybe clarity of what they want to do at the beginning of it all seems to be hurting Space Station Gaming's effectiveness here. Envy have been playing at this caliber for so long now, what feels like almost a year. This story is only a continuation. They have put in the effort and the time. They want this World Championship bid. They are working hard for it. They're one game ahead, but haven't been able to get past this Magoa and Nara holding on Ascension peak.
Only 50 seconds left to do it. Ascension can be a little wishy-washy on the push. Sometimes, though, the teams that know it often do end up converting here. But not a very good little offense put together here by Team Envy. They don't really have that EV pressure, though. They don't have something to just dive and surgically remove the enemy support this time around. So it's a little bit more difficult for them. I think Rock Monkey and Tolki are really, really good options for them to try and get aggressive with.
Really good min-maxing by Rachel. Gets in, gets out, throws the wall up, blocks Random Noob, and he gets the healing. Rubu, though, finds a couple of kills as a result of that. And now Random Noob getting pressured out. Sadaki's going to find that one on the Drogos, but Tolki, he will take down Ares. Rock Monkey will add to the tally. And Envy have taken down Space Station Gaming staggered, by the way, so that now this overtime can really start to get rolling.
Oh, man, it's going to be difficult to beat this Team Envy squad with Random Noob playing as good as he is. And, I mean, Rock Monkey doesn't even have to come close to the top of the damage charts this time around. He's got his front lines to do it. And Rock and Rubu are very competitive, obviously teammates for a long time, but on a game like this, look for this Barrack pick to be close to the top damage. Rubu is going to be very, very high, just being able to gut shot a Nara basically the entire game.
Somebody's got to stop this man. Random Noob is just unbelievable with how he is finding damage when he needs to for his team. The pressure from Drogos, the AoE salvo spit lands and forces SSG back into the base. Rubu, he's getting stunned here, Nick. Overtime is ticking away, and now you start to bet the ultimates. What do Team Envy do? Do they go for it? Random Noob lights up the Dragon Punch. He wants it, baby. And he gets the Ancient Rage kill.
Oh my goodness, massive misstep there. I think it's a blessing in disguise that he didn't even get that Ancient Rage off. If he would have expended that and immediately died for it, big mistake. But SSG sneak away the defense here. Envy just take one little step off the objective, and in those clutch moments, that's all SSG need. I think that was a real blessing.
Woo, he tried too. That was like, I don't know whether that was panic or something. Sadak narrowly keeping his ultimate there.
I don't know why he tried to get it off.
Due to the quickness of the death that he had. Random Noob, he had that one back. He'd just circle up and then come back down because he's like, wow, that's 10,000 more value for me. Beautiful replay here, as you can see, just Tolki and the pressure on the right side. That was what Envy controlled so well with the Drogos and the Ruckus.
And you know, we were talking about this after the first set. You were watching Navi and Fnatic fight very hard for this, and sometimes, and in that case was one of those times where I'm like, why do you want this balcony so bad?
Right.
The reason SSG want it is because Ares will be able to be effective from this corner, poking out at the enemy supports and doing things like that. So that's why you see Envy wanting to hold it down, but Sadak tries a completely different approach, and you can't say it worked.
You can't say it, and you hate to see it. And Tolki, he loves it. Ruckus getting the double kill again. These tanks are carrying for the side of Team Envy, and now they're just pushing out a battered and beaten SSG. Rachel, the only remnant standing, but he is going to go down soon.
I think that's a big part of Team Envy's success, and Navi tends to do this as well, but the front lines for Team Envy often do so much work that I actually believe it bleeds into why they can be so flexible. It's because like Rock and Random don't have to have these nutty performances on some of their like B-tier champions that they don't play super often. Because if you can get these A-tier front lines, and that's why I think you're seeing such a heavy frontline prioritization in this set.
Uh-oh, and here's the Ancient Rage. So they have a chance to retake, but what does he have to do here? I think Drogos has to go down. That's the hook, but he's got to get the next shot. He's got one, but now it's going to get healed up. No one is pressured out. Random Noob again with the Dragon Punch, going to charge it up, and he's going for Ares. He finds him, and SSG barely claim his life again. So now what can FRZ God do? He goes into the Enlightenment, but is it enough, Nick?
Not even close. I mean, that just entirely dumps into Ruckus' shield. He's continuing to put this damage out. They might be able to get this kill on the Tolki. They have got to get something.
Got it.
And they finally get a consolation prize. Rock into the back line, throws up the hands, gets taken down, I think, by the gourd damage. He might have been standing on some poison there, but Random is back. He's continuing to put damage onto this point, and it's a 99 to 21% lead.
And they don't have ultimates to bet with. They are going to have the seismic crash soon, and the second they get the Inara, things will start to be interesting, but FRC God has to hit some shots, and they better be headshots here because they need to go down and go down fast. Envy say no thank you, and I think this overtime is all but over. Team Envy grab the second objective here.
There's just not a lot of kill potential here that I'm seeing from SSG. Not saying, you know, Grok would have been a better selection here, but the way that Team Envy play, it is kind of passive. There's not a lot of opportunities for Rock to get aggressive into this. I think, obviously, when you look at the matchups, right, Impulse Cassie, having a Leon as well, she's got a lot of easy to confirm damage. You have to keep track of her ultimate. Is it up? Is it down? What's the situation with that? So, again, that's just Team Envy's strength, though. Rock is just having to play safe. He's having to play pretty passive, and the rest of the boys are doing the work.
And this is what needs to happen. FRC God needs to get double kills and triple kills and do things like this all game long. But right back at you, says Tolkien. He finds another double kill. This Ruckus play has been on another level.
He's been a monster. We didn't give him enough credit at all in game number 1. He was phenomenal there as well, and Tolkien continues to impress. This is incredibly important. It's such a big pick for SSG, and like Kresnik mentioned, for both of the frontline players for Team Envy. Normally I would say this is a Rubu pick, but I think Tolkien's definitely changing my mind today.
Yeah, and Rubu's got his moments. I mean, we remember that first land in November with Team Purity, and he gets his, I think, pentakill. Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud. I said I remembered it, and I forgot that it was
and it was damn near a hexakill because Terminus
That's true. He almost ulted and came back. So there's a lot of value for both sides here. A minute and 5 seconds left. Overtime not even close to ticking away, but Envy have held strong. Aries trying from the balcony to just hold down this defense, and that's what SSG need. Just a little bit of time to figure it out. But Envy do not want to give them that respite.
Ultimate usages this time around is going to be pretty important. Nobody's ending the game here, but SSG are looking a little bit starved for ultimates. Tolkien barely keeps himself onto the map there. Rock picks one. Random goes down, and it's a Hexafire just to try and push this one through. This looks like a Phoenix Hexafire. He always just pops these off right at the end to try and force it through, but the payload not quite close enough.
And they were still dealing with Rachao, and you know what? Rachao tried to go for the seismic crash, I think. Wasn't able to make it happen. 2-1 here for Team Envy, and it looks like FRZ got her in a fantastic position to go down 3-1. Unfortunately, not what they want to hear, but Sadak is going to do everything. Ancient Rage for the Turtle. He's buying time, but is it enough? 14 seconds left, and I think they're going to find Tolkien here. They do, and that should be at least enough to hold off this defense now.
Still feels like wins for Team Envy, though. I mean, they're getting massive cooldowns out of SSG. You feel really good about this if you're Team Envy. This is sometimes how you got to do it. I mean, if they're going to pop it, they're going to give it to you, you're going to give it to you, right? You're going to hold that defense. Team Envy are more than happy, I think, to get those massive Ancient Rage, Dread Serpent cooldowns off the board, because those are the tide turners, man. That's what I think they're going to have to leverage to turn this one around.
And I absolutely love the way that, you know, they prepared for everything here. And finally, we're seeing FRZ guy with that 12-7, something that honestly gives them, I think, a little bit of hope. When he starts popping off, not only is he just a great player statistically, but I think he's emotionally a galvanizing but part of their team. And Envy do not want to see that. So Rock Monkey, Random Noob done a great job of keeping him in check. And man, shout outs to Tolkien with the master riding as well as Rubu to get to those early positions.
21 streak here for Mr. Hayes as well. Things struggling outside of FRZ God, though, for Space Station, heading deep into the red here for the slash line ceiling. Almost equalized there. So you got to say that's pretty impressive coming out, managing to keep up with Ying and these guys. Sometimes it can be very difficult. Hook's going to miss there early. Dome Shield comes out. Rock the first to fall, and Rachao again getting Dragon.
I mean, and it doesn't work. He did it twice. I mean, the wall doesn't help. Clearly, he just goes for the forehead there. It's like, I've got a lot of room. You're 8.
Oh, did he die in that same corner?
Oh, yeah, same corner. I mean, maybe if Inara was barrack size, it might work, and he'd have to go, you know, start crawling in the hole. But Envy feel comfortable with that position. Aries using that impulse, and maybe that's where big game you would feel just would come in handy. But FRZ God saves the day. Beautiful heals as well from Mittal. This is why these damage charts and healing charts are relatively close, excuse me, because Envy and Space Station both have great healers, keeping them alive in these close fights.
I think a little like it's almost a little bit of what FRZ God was doing last game on Cassie to Random Noob that Rock Monkey is doing here to Aries. He's kind of just staying away. Like when we're watching Rock, I never see Aries around. When we're watching Aries, I never really see Rock around. Rock is still finding a way to get effective kills, to get damage out onto the battlefield without having to worry about Cassie.
So right now, Nick, things are starting to actually look pretty good. If Rubu goes down here, which it looks like he will, Envy have lost 2. Rock Monkey and Rubu are out 96%. SSG, they're going to come out of nowhere and grab objective number 3. And so now that makes things interesting because they can push him way.
You got to say, what's the difference there for SSG? What changed? Obviously, the Dragon Punch is still starting to play out, but how do you respond? The fact if you just let that happen, it's going to happen every round, right? You have to play around it. Getting a little bit more aggressive, getting into the faces, I think that's a boon for Team Envy. They know they're getting that Dragon Punch, but Random Noob is getting out too often. I think you need to collapse on him after the fact and really try and get this kill and get this aggression rolling. You have Makoa. You have one of the most aggressive front lines in the game. Get it done.
And I think that's what works. Sadak went aggressive on the left side. He missed the hook, but he forced it. He forced it. I like that word. I think that's a SAT word right there. He forced the Androxus to get out. Rock just immediately dashed away. The other thing is FRZ God is on 11 streak right now. He hasn't died. So they've had Death and Taxes anti-heal the entire round, and that's a big deal, turning things in the favor of Richal. And I think another thing is the fact that you just see Richal actually finding the early kill on the Dragon Punch and not committing too much. SSG just kind of back off, let it happen, and then regroup and go for the fight.
I think it's a good thing for sure. Cassie Makoa, I think they just need to group up, right? You're playing Impulse. Go play Impulse. Get to these backliners. Land that hook if you can. Obviously, that's a massive, massive boon. Random goes deep with the Dragon Punch. Doesn't like what he sees as he comes around the corner. Running low on fuel, he decides to call it off and come back home.
Spacestation Gaming in a pretty good position here. They've got a minute left, and they're going to pull back. I think that was, again, one of the difference makers in this last round. But Team Envy are in a fantastic spot to hold and give themselves another advantage. They've won 2 out of 3, so you have to look good heading into another objective capture. But FRZ God has not died in 12 eliminations, so he is starting to be the difference for Space Station.
Judging where I'm seeing the ultimate charges for Space Station right now and the team that they are and the way they've played in this tournament, they're going to try and charge this last 30%, and they're going to pop ultimates.
Oh, no.
They're going to try to win the game right here.
Oh no, they lost Rubu, and then Tolki falls as well. FRZ God, he's got to find it. He does. Space Station, just like that, tie it up.
That is beautiful from Space Station, and they barely needed to use ult. It was in fact Tolki that I think kicked things off there with Hexafire. That's the way SSG, whenever they have the chance to go for the throw, they do.
They found Rubu early on a great hook from Sadak and couldn't get the dome shield off. And then Tolki Hexafire because he knew, oh my God, well, we have to save this,
My
right?
boy's in trouble.
Yeah, well, we're all dead. I got to save something, and that just put him in such a vulnerable position. But from that 3rd point on, FRZ God doesn't die. This man shows up again, big time for Space Station. Let's break it down. Game 2's done. Let's go back to the desk.
Wow, and we are all knotted up here, folks. We got a series for the battle of the Americanos. Welcome back, Golden Boy here alongside with Kresnik and Bitey. And you know, you looked at the draft though, and you saw the way that they were able to secure the Inara, get the Makoa, and it's not shocking that they were able to win this game, but it really was about FRZ God and just the contributions that he makes to this squad. It's just unparalleled.
Yeah, once the pressure from Envy stopped like countering FRZ God, like kind of not letting him pop off on Leon with rotations and stuff that he wants to do. Once they stopped letting him, once they stopped stopping him from doing that, so a better way to put that, I guess, then the game just turned around, and SSG were able to kite, rotate, not let them get in the way they wanted to. Turn it around.
Yeah.
I kind of see it from the approach of like Envy's essentially got amazing ultimates, and no matter what they do, SSG doesn't have that kind of value. You don't got the punch, and you don't have like this 6 guns of pain that's going to eliminate something. So what they have to start doing is playing around this punch timing. Now you saw we won literally 2 points in a row because of the combinations of ults that Envy could provide. Now I think what happened on that 3rd point was a little bit different because we have the punch go out, we have everything kind of go the same way, but Inara managed to get a staff onto the Ruckus, who was going to try to clean up what was left. That was a massive play because Ruckus goes down. That's a big piece of their damage. Him losing out of that fight just lets Inara walk back in. Makoa's still doing big stuff, and it just is a lot harder to defend with Envy's comp.
Just continues to show the importance of Ruckus at this event, right? How if you're able to take him out, you can impact an entire fight. But let's take a look at the Axis Replay post-game stats and see what we have here, there's some stories to be told out of this one, but FRZ got 17-7. Rock Monkey, though, a strong showing on the Androxus, 16-10. Anything here that is kind of catching your attention, fellas?
Rock was popping off, I think, in the earlier game, and he kind of got a little quieter as the game went on, especially when they're on the defense, because there's really not much they could do. The backlines can take such good positioning to watch the angles, not really let Rock get into the places he wants to be able to guarantee those kills.
Andy kind of thrives in the aggressive zone, but when you're on defense, you know, you've got Drogos and Andy trying to work together. There's a McCullough with a hook. He is just looking for somebody to be a little too close. You get that one hook and that one pick, and that can spell your entire disaster because the Makoa Anara is just constantly marching forward and taking ground that's just really hard to gain back.
Just so much HP, so much protection, keeping him going, and that is just been, it's so tough to crack. Right, the fact that that went through, I think, is shocking in itself. Maybe Envy goes back and say, you know, if the Inara is available, maybe we take it next time.
She's pretty good.
She's not that bad. You know, maybe we take the Inara. But let's find out who your Steel Series MVP was for Game 2 in this tied-up series now between Space Station Gaming and Envy. Who's the Steel Series MVP? I really want to know. I'm going to do a little drum roll as soon as...
I don't know if it's going to get picked up on the mic,
but... There you go. And it is going to be Aries. So Aries coming in with the Steel Series MVP. Thoughts on that, folks?
I think it's just like a really comfortable position. Now, I mean, I love always picking out these MVPs, but I like to say it's the whole team coming together because it's all about adapting. They literally went down 2 points. Somebody on that team said, yo, we need to change this up. Let's do something different. And they just come through as a unit. Like, I really think that's SSG's strongest point. And to the same extent, Envy, these top-tier matches are just adapting to what you see and making plays together.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Well, that was map 2. Now it's time to find out what map 3 is going to be, and I believe this will be Envy's choice to make. Where do you think that they're going to go, Bitey?
This is the battle zone here, so it's really about every person who loses gets their next map up. So it's like, all right, it's my turn. All right, you won this. All right, yeah, that's fine. So in terms of what they pick it to, I mean, Envy's such a deep team. I think they could do whatever they want, technically. There's no reason for them to pick something extraordinary unless they want to.
All right, well, let's find out what it's going to be, and it will be Frog Isle. Probably the least extraordinary, but the most extraordinary. Does that make sense? I think it does in my world. Kresnik, your thoughts on that one, buddy?
The Frog Isle pick, I think they want to... Rock Monkey on snipers is really spooky.
But we haven't really seen snipers at all.
But this, if there's going to be on a map, it's going to be here. And it's seen play in like the qualifiers. I know SK, you guys played it on Frozen Guard where it was insane. And like they've shown that it can still be viable in this meta if played with the right comp. And if any team with their synergy is going to make it work, it's going to be Team Envious.
Okay, all right. You think we're going to see snipers biting?
It's hard. Like, getting the sniper out there is like, you got to do your drafts right, and then you kind of do this bamboozler draft where you're like, oh, if you do this, I get a sniper, but you don't. So it's not so binary of like, because your snipers have very clear openings. You know, you can take an Ashe against it, you can run into them with a Gnar, you can sit back and use Victor grenades to just poke them out. So there's a whole bunch of different mind games that go into what you pick.
Inara gets banned. Khan gets banned on Space Station Gaming. So rather than dealing with the Inara or picking the Inara, they get rid of the Inara and the Makoa.
That's a flashback to the previous games. I mean, they've both been pretty influential champions.
Yes.
Earlier in both games, neither team was syncing up on the hooks properly, but then once they're like, oh, I'm playing Makoa, I almost forgot. They started cleaning up on every single hook. They were getting the value that is the reason that Makoa has been banned so often in all these games, in the history of Paladins.
You think they're looking for an Ashe first pick maybe on Envy that helps secure a sniper?
It's possible. I wouldn't be shocked, but I mean, Nando is still up. If it's an early
I think they're going to
Ashe,
go for Fernando.
This is a hot team.
They like Fernando. When everyone's questioning their logic behind it, when everyone's like, why are they not picking Inara first? They go for Fernando, and it always works out for them. This is the first game that they're able to get the Fernando as well. I think they're feeling pretty happy about that pickup.
Yeah, the Nando is really good at pushing the enemy danger, the enemy like cliff side, if they have a sniper, or if they just have any backline that can't really rotate out of the window. Or he's even pretty good at stopping the aggression. Once they start getting up on your danger side, your cliff side, he can get lineups on the Scorch Fireballs, put a lot of pressure on those backlines that are trying to stand behind the tanks, cowering and scared. He just does a lot on this map.
I'm really interested in what Deeps we're looking for here. Like, Envy's got a great foundation with Fernando. Kind of does a jack of all trades for a tank. Has great damage, great press, but you need usually something to work with him. So it's going to be an interesting pick here. I'm not sure what they're looking for until we get a little bit more information on that field, especially with an Ashe and a Ruckus. I mean, Nando doesn't like fighting Ruckus.
I know, historically I was going to say, well, Victor is very good on this map. Even in metas, he hasn't been good. He's still been pretty good on this map as like a pocket pick. I know Envy also loves Drogos on this map. This is their old strat used to be like a Ruckus and a point tank and just wait and let a sniper pick in middle. They're going to do that with the Victor now, with the tanks being able to clean up on the Victor and the Drogos damage.
You notice that Envy didn't even go for that Ying there? Yeah. You know, she's got such that high win rate, and they just ignored her.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe there's some wall jump healing that they need to be doing.
That's true. Yeah, the life exchange on the Ying has jumping and accuracy, like a few champions do. So if someone wants to do a quick peek and heal, they sometimes will jump over the wall, the sniper wall.
Or you could be behind a wall.
You're right.
And heal everyone.
They could, and be doing poke at the same time, but it does not seem like that's going to be the case.
I was just saying, you know.
From Team Envy, yes.
All right, I just want to say that there's your sniper there. You've already got the Ashe, you got the Ruckus. This is going to be an interesting game. If Knessa pops off, it's going to be devastating. Barrick's got a big old dome.
Oh boy. This is good. This is a good draft here. All right, Bitey, who you got?
I'm going to pick the Knessa team, SSG. This is the one time I'm not moving.
If any team can play against it, it's going to be Envy. I think they love Drogos in this map. They're in their comfort zone.
The desk is split yet again here at the Alienware Analyst Desk. Time to find out what our casters think. Let's head over for game number 3, Frog Isle with Pretty Hair and Rain Day.
Thanks, Golden Boy. Well, Drogos into Knessa. How do you feel, Nick?
It's this double fire spit composition, right? And that shrapnel grenade is going to do almost as much damage as the fire spit. The big question for me, though, is how comfortable can this Knessa be with pressure? Because I think that's the biggest strength of their comp. They have 2 aggressive tanks, an Eevee. How does this Knessa stay involved, stay relevant? That's the biggest question mark for me.
And my other question mark is, the Ares on the Knessa. I'm assuming we would think that if there was no Eevee being played, it'd be FRZ God on that. He is a dominant Eevee, so you see why they have to seed that away and prioritize Ares on the Knessa. But the sludge shot from Rachel. Normally we see the Fortress Breaker on the Ashe, but this time it's going to have a little bit of more of a dangerous threat from long range. Take away some of the explosion, but it will allow him to find damage onto those backline damage dealers.
This is it now. A lot of pressure can come out. I want to see at least one Eagle Eye headshot out of the sky, killing a Dragon Punch.
That's
at least one.
I'm thinking like 35. I don't know. Big shot, though. That's one. That's for sure. SSG starting off pretty nice. 9% here and counting, and Random Noob has been kind of put into a corner. Now he peeks his head, and now he gets hit. That is not a good thing as a player. You know you have to play a little safer there, because the second you looked, you got shot. Rubu making some space, and FRZ God gets low, and now SSG pulling back a little bit.
Now they can worry a little bit about this point, try and get this Ashe off. Nobody has an insane point front line in this game, so it has to be, you know, someone's got to win a fight, someone's got to get aggressive here. Find a kill, and it looks like SSG will move forward and draw first blood.
Big time kill there in the air. FRZ got Ares and Sadak get in, and it's a team effort for Space Station. But now Rubu finding Sadak in return. What can FRZ got do? He soars, he blinks, and he blinks on back. They're still holding down this side. That's a shrapnel grenade. He's gonna ice block and just blink away to safety and fire a shot in return.
This kid's looking really sharp today. Rock finding some pressure as well.
He's got trapped.
It's been interesting to watch. You've seen Envy play their danger side. There's one. Start the counter, folks.
There it is, Nick. That's 2. We already hit 1 before. Can he hit another? Ares going off. That's 3. And that's 2 kills for the man with the plan, the god of war from Brazil. Ares Aries starting off point 1 strong.
Really interesting the way Envy was approaching that fight, though. A lot of times we'll see Victor and Drogos focus on poking out the front line, the enemy front line, by just sort of prairie dogging over the wall, putting their grenades, fire spits on that point. But you saw them both play on what Crescent called the danger side of this cliff, or right where Sadak, right behind Sadak on the staircase. That's where they sat the entire time. They were really focused on that aggression there, and I'm curious to watch and see if they change that up in round 2.
I mean, you're counting on the Kinessa, Nick. You're counting on that. You're counting on a little bit of Sadak. Maybe a lucky rocket barrage because he's got 3 of them to use, but you're not counting on the mid-air EV shots. That's something that FRZ is adding to the table, and Random Noob for the first time on Drogos in this set looks a little scared.
Definitely a tough matchup to play into. This Kinessa can be so deadly, like we mentioned. Potential in the early game to one-tap this Drogos out of the sky. If he gets Haven on, he won't be able to take him out from full HP. Here comes the barrage here. What damage will it be able to find? A Hexafire as well, and an Immortal. A lot happening on the front line.
Oh man, Sadak says, thank you for giving me Ruckus. He finds one, and Rock Monkey goes down, and now it's just a little bit of a delayed kill on to Tolkien. Envy have not looked good starting this off, and FRZ God and Space Station have looked phenomenal. This sniper play, this pressure, it's insurmountable right now.
It's really, really awesome to see Sadak back on Ruckus, particularly for the reason that he's been here before. He has played in these semifinals at the World Championship. He has had this pressure on him, and he's still going to play properly given that. He's not going to be afraid of the enemies in the kill feed, those guys sitting across from him, and that's so big.
Oh
it's time to get aggressive.
And there it is, Aries finding Random Noob. That was an interesting little look there, but it was actually not FRZ God dying. It was the Dragon getting hit from his perspective by another couple of headshots there. Rachao gets in on the action. FRZ God is back in play, and now it's Random Noob trying to get there. A shrapnel grenade. Will it be enough for Envy to hold? Not even close.
This is Envy's map pick, Evan. This is Envy's map pick. They're supposed to be winning this. They're not supposed to be down 2-0 here, and this could easily turn into 4-0 here. Thankfully, that wasn't the quickest round ever, so I do believe Envy would have had some time to get some credits, buy their level 2 items, and not be just completely skunked in the economy.
Well, Nick, it would be a great thing to look at the net worth because, you know, in Paladins, the economy does mean something. We'll take a look after our respawn out of the gate replay. The big headshot there from the God of War from Brazil, Mr. Aries. And you think you're getting away? No, Barrick's half head.
You're ahead with legs attached.
Yes.
Barrick, one of the easier characters to headshot there. And you see the net worth chart split pretty heavily, obviously, in favor of SSG. But you can see 9 credits in hand, 15 credits in hand. Everyone there who wanted a level 2 offensive item did pick one up for Team Envy.
Nick, that was impressive. He hit the shot in the leads. He couldn't see him, but he just knew from practice he hit his shots hit, and that was important for Space Station Gaming just to get on the right foot. Now Ruby's under pressure. He's going to have to throw the shield up soon. Doesn't have the Immortal, but he's 81%, so that's what he's trying to charge. Still, 27% on the point for Envy. Sadak hasn't made his move yet, and now the battle continues. He almost falls off the ledge, but here's a Hexafire. He's forcing Rubu away. The shield's going to melt in behind him. There's a member from SSG. Rubu could be going down, but somehow he's still alive.
How does he keep that pressure up long enough there? I'm so surprised that Rubu actually stays alive there. That may come back to haunt them. FRZ in the backline. FRZ's good for 1.
Oh my goodness gracious. This man is somebody you're going to have to deal with if you want to win Worlds. He is not giving it up easy, and that's a nice Dread Serpent, but it doesn't get him off the map. It just gets him back to base. Big kill from Rubu there, who held that down, and Dragon Punch primed and ready. He hits a clone, but then he hits 2 for his trouble with 1 rocket. That's Envy clapping back and grabbing objective number 2.
That's just Mr. Hayes hard carrying that fight on Maldamba. Hits a massive Dread Serpent. Random Noob punches a clone, but he's getting pocketed so hard by this Maldamba that it's okay. He recovers, he bounces back. You have to give credits to these supports when they make plays like that.
He was like, you know, this is actually the most efficient play
Come on,
because
brother.
I kill the clone and then I shoot them both so they both die. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys.
100% anti-heal if I Dragon Punch this clone.
That was 1,000 IQ right there. That was Space Star Wall IQ in the mixer chat, guys.
Mr. Hayes, he attached the training wheels onto the tricycle there, and he prevented Random Noob from falling over. He's got the hand on the butt.
Meanwhile,
making sure he's all good.
Random Noob's like, I did it, I rode.
Big fragger here.
Big fragger here. Mr. Hayes is like, oh God, they're not going to talk about me again. But today. No, we have to mention Mr. Hayes and his ability. I actually wanted to bring him up, Nick, because not only has he been a real rock and anchor for this team, one of the original core members, you know, with Random Noob on the support level, but he's going to be tested today. FRZ God is, you know, what a dangerous threat, but he's blinking into the back line half the time to get Mr. Hayes off. So Mr. Hayes is going to have to know how to deal with that situation, have those stuns ready, and be able to slither on time to be able to evade this threat.
Playing so well together right now. FRZ got and Sadak, they're coordinating their pressure. These kills aren't coming through as easily as I think they would like, but it's a good start for them. And it's just a good sign that they are playing together. I think when two champions at the minimum are playing this well coordinated, it's much more dangerous of a combination.
World-class teams, that's for sure. They're both bidding for their chance at the finals of the Paladins World Championship, the biggest show. Aries, so you would have had a 360 that one before you could blink. And Envy, they're wise to it. It's going to be another full wipe here on the Space Station. Envy now in a really good position to 2-2 this and tie it up.
Not a lot of ultimates to fall back on if you're Space Station either, so you've got to get something going without them here. You cannot allow Envy to get this conversion without spending. They can already get to Fernando.
What do you think about that?
That ain't a bad call there, but I don't know if it was the time for it. I think Envy are really trying to just hold on to momentum right now.
Does that just kind of give you an idea of how they're feeling? Like, oh God, like, make sure we get a, you know, it feels like they realize that at any moment, if they slip, SSG will wipe them.
That dome shield as well. Everything feels like
early.
It's like the action's not quite happening yet. Ash is extremely low, and Rochelle will fall. Rock Monkey has been assassinated, and Envy just quietly roll it through.
So never mind, it wasn't early clearly, it was just on time. But here's what we've talked about, and actually I've spent so much time talking with Fighty and talking with Navi and talking with Fnatic and Theo, spending some time, especially Phoenix as well, and they were talking about the defenses. And when do you hold? When do you decide that I'm just gonna let them win it? And they got two big ultimates, Immortal from Fernando, Dome Shield from Barrick. They saved 3, so they should have an ultimate advantage heading into next point, and I think that's a smart hold.
They certainly do.
Let's go.
And I mean, certainly, but it feels like almost Envy. Did they need those? Like, what did that Dome Shield really accomplish? What did that Immortal really accomplish?
Right.
The only thing that SSG spend is that Headhunter. That's not the biggest deal in the world. It's pretty quick to charge, and it's not necessary. Like we saw, most of those headshots will come through and be damn near one-shots. There's a little bit of Haven action happening for some of those squishier targets, so it won't be able to do the 100 to 0, but 97 to 0 is just as good.
Oh my God, that's what we're talking about. Mr. Hayes on point with the slither, and maybe a little bit of premature kind of anticipation there from Aries, FRZ God, and the rest of Space Station, but it has accomplished their goal. They have pushed all of Envy back and gotten 2 kills with 1 Ice Storm.
This sucks. I mean, and an Ice Storm didn't even land.
And it didn't
That's
even
the
land.
Scary part about FRZ God. Even when he misses, he hits. He kills 2 people.
Like, what? That doesn't make sense.
He's hacking the source code here, 60%. And now what sucks is that Envy have to push into the sniper. They have to take predictable sight lines, path, timing. Everything is something that Aries is going to know when it's coming. There's a Hexafire trying to just put the foot down and end this capture.
Oh, he needed it. We said he had to get the headshot, and he certainly did. The God of War. I'm going to keep calling him that because he is showing up big time in Space Station Gaming. They are 3-2. They could go up in the set, and this is Envy's map.
Ooh, every time. Random Noob pokes his head out every time he is exposed. He is taking a shot, 1,200 minimum here, and 2,400 is just the big prize here.
What a shot.
Carry on, top 2 minutes remain here. A lot of damage going out on a Sadak. That might be a kill that Random Noob wants to confirm here. He hits the fire spit and will get his prize.
I was a little questionable about seeing that Hexafire come out from Sadak. It felt a little premature, but it did force a couple of big cooldowns that I think opened up room for Aries to snipe. Of course, I think shield from Fernando, and then he dropped it trying to be aggressive. I don't know. I just think SSG are, you know, teams are always kind of trying to figure out how smart are they? How good are they? You know, how good do they draft? And at this point, they've just continuously proven beyond people's expectations of it.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how Frog Eye is very momentum, so when you do have the momentum, you're going to see teams be a little froggy on, and that's not even really a pun, they're going to be a little froggish on these ultimates because they want to just maintain that momentum. They want to make sure that they are in control. They want to keep everything in line here. Random Noob with a kind of a cheeky little flank there. Honestly, no one really
surprised
from Team
me.
Envy are honestly even really near him. He is by far the most extended player.
I mean, he just Dragon Punched Eevee, you know, halfway across the payload because they're defending in SSG's base. This is a defense, ladies and gentlemen. Envy have just pushed them so far back that Space Station haven't had a chance to claw their way through.
And this is good for the reason where the payload is. If the payload was further than this, then I would actually be a little bit scared for Team Envy because you lose that one pick, then you probably lose one more as you guys are all backpedaling, trying to get, this is it, right? This is where you lose those picks. Thankfully, again, the payload is just not close enough. If it was, though, this is where SSG snowball isn't in the game.
But that's the thing, there's still 40 seconds. Like, there's still a lot of time, and they are staggered now. It is 5-4. Finally, they're gonna get their man back. But look, he finds this kill, and it's still 5-4. This could be very bad for Envy. He's gotta get it. He's one shot away. He's getting healed up. And he finds it, and he hits the Leon spray. He needed the grace of the gods.
He's slapping as many training wheels on a random noob as he possibly can, but Aries just keeps slashing every single tire. There is no cauterize online for this Kinessa. That's why it takes so many shots. That man has probably 4,000 or 5,000 damage from Kinessa on his death recap.
Oh man, and it is not looking good. Overtime ticking away, and it's starting to get interesting, Nick. They have ultimates. Do you use them? I think I just heard one there. It is the illusory rift. They got the healing, and now they've isolated Rubu, but they get the dome shield in response.
Really good value here. Envy are managing to get up against the ropes here. It's a 2-for-1. FRZ got Rock Monkey. He has got to be ice cold here from the back line. He has got to bring this one back for Envy. Beautiful Dread Serpent for Mr. Hazel. Set it up.
Oh, big double kill there from Rock Monkey. He's trying to steal the show. Tolkien skating on rocket boots, but the rocket boots just melted the ice. Oh, it's a defense, and it's 3-3. Nothing happens now. It's one objective fight to decide game 3.
Oh, Brazil is going for the jugular here. They get every ultimate out of Team Envy, and they hold on to 2. Rashao with assert dominance. FRZ God with the Ice Storm. If they can get value for these ultimates, I do not see a way that they lose this game.
This is a battle of giants, of gods, so to speak. Aries and FRZ God. It seems like an unfair advantage, 2-1, or I mean, maybe 2-2 now that Rock Monkey finally has that play that makes you realize he's there. It's maybe a little bit of a quieter set for him than some would have expected. Random Noob carrying a lot of the star power weight.
I felt that way on Ascension Peak, but he was still like 14-7. I don't know how he did it. I was like, wait, who did you kill? Who do you know here? How did you get in?
FRZ God takes the right side again. Will he go for it? The Ice Storm got 2 last time, and this time he kind of takes it out. Oh my goodness gracious! And Aries finds Rock Monkey. That was what they needed. They are pushing through. SSG have the point, and they have the pressure, and now they're about to have game 3 unless Envy can do something drastic.
Envy back up. They don't lose anything else. That's the big key here for them. Ultimates are starting to come online for them. They have a Dragon Punch. They have a Barrage. The Ice Storm locks him down. Random Noob has got to watch his head.
Hit your shots, kid. That's all they're saying to Aries. He hits 1 for FRZ God.
Distraction.
Random Noob needs a Dragon Punch. It's got to happen soon. Pay attention to the Drogos. He hits the Fire Spit, and now you can see that 84% doesn't mean much because SSG have to back off.
The ice block and out of the ice block. Unfortunate timing there. FRZ guy just didn't know it was coming for him. And Envy managed to settle things back down, but it's an 84 to 30% lead on the objective, and Random's not done yet.
He's going for it, and he's going to get baited. He can't find it at all. He's going to be invulnerable now just for a minute because Mr. Hayes still has the pocket heal, but now Aries knows where he is. And this is Rock Monkey. He got killed first in this game 3, and there's Ed Hunter. He pops it. The God of War shows up. Big Nick, and now Spacestation Gaming try to make this
another one. Transport back onto the mat. Aries is not done yet. Do they think he's gone, though? Hits another shot on Fernando. Shield goes up, but SSG will take the lead.
On Envy's map. Would you believe it? The boys from Brazil trying to make waves in the international Paladin scene. It's the World Championship. What a time to do it. Game number 3 on Envy's map choice goes the way of Spacestation.
Smiles across the board as well. I was a little bit stunned that that game ended exactly when it did, and it felt like Envy weren't quite ready to be out of that one yet. That's a big key for me. They now have pressure on them. I don't know if they were expecting to feel the heat in this set.
It almost feels like they just thought they'd have another chance, but Envy are maybe underestimating the value of Spacestation and the way that they're taking these fights. It's so tactical, you wouldn't even know it. It's not even 200 IQ. This is, 500 IQ. What is this? Space Narwhal IQ. Let's see if Golden Boy agrees with that one as we send it back to the desk.
Hey, Space Whale IQ. That's what that was. Oh my word, what a game that was. You said you wanted a sniper. You picked SSG. Bitey, I bow before you, my friend. Space Whale's for you, buddy. No, never mind. Spacewell's not for you. Never mind. Forget it. Let's go to. I'm just gonna chat on Mixer. That's just what I'm gonna
They
do.
might have better feedback
me
than us.
tell
I'll be
you what
honest.
happened there. Don't you turn away from me. Look at me. All right. Look at me. Look at me. So, like, I honestly think that SSG won the draft from the start. And it basically comes down to, like, that pressure that they're able to put out. We have Frozen Guard. He literally dives over, misses the ult, and the entire team of Envy just starts pulling back already. And behind all of that, we've got Pix on the left side, right next to the Frog. Drogos just gets hit behind it because everybody's doing these turns. You have Ashe with her ults and the initiations. And honestly, I want to give props to Envy because they pulled that game through by their skill. It was all like experience and outplaying, but that's only going to get you so far when your draft is just a little bit worse on teams of this caliber.
Because composition-wise, one of the big things they needed was the Drogos to really be able to fly up and just punish, right? Punish in the front, and then maybe even put pressure on the back line. The Drogos never got an opportunity to take flight. It was a land lizard.
He was still applying a lot of pressure with the indirect damage.
Which was really impressive.
Yeah. Even then, like the biggest value of Drogos, I mean, outside of the execute and the ult, is the fact that he does this indirect damage. So he doesn't need to necessarily be standing in the open and to get this damage. He did that one time where he was just kind of standing in the cliff window and just like, I wonder where Ares is right now, and then he was just gone. But the fact that he was able to put on that pressure is just a testament to his skill with Drogos. And
really, that was just madness. What an ending to that game. It went all the way to the distance. That's exactly what you want to see. Some great matchups that we're having here. Now, Spacestation Gaming, they have the lead 2-1. 2 more games and they're going to go to the grand final. Last year, Nocturnes, South American squad, came to this event, fell at the semifinals. Spacestation looking to put that region on the map. And boy, they're already on the map. I mean, I think it goes without saying, but to end up in the grand finals against one of the best teams in the world in Na'Vi is going to be huge. But maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Let's take a look, though, at the Access Replay post-game stats. And the player I'm looking for is Ares, as Rainday said, the god of war, who was
from Brazil.
Yeah, from Brazil, destroying as Kinessa.
Yeah, he was getting all the confirms they needed when they tried to repush. Because SSG, they were pushing so aggressively, they were pushing them out of Ares' sightlines. They were keeping them that far back, but Ares was just there waiting to clean up when they tried to retake that ground.
And I really think, like, in order to try to force this win, you had to somehow just be willing for somebody's got to die and somebody's got to take space. You have to get to Kinessa because she was free farming for a lot of that game. Victor and Drogos just struggled there.
And that is why Ares is your Steel Series MVP as a Kinessa. Some great plays, by the way. Well, it was one play where the Kinessa was knocked off the map and just teleported right back in. Like, oh my goodness, just to have the wherewithal. This was an insane encounter. Didn't have the full cauterize. It didn't really matter. Just went for all of the shots and landed all of the shots and was just such a pain, a nuisance for Envy to deal with.
I wouldn't want to be Hayes right there when Random's just ADing but staying in the sideline the whole time. Hayes is like, come on, man. Come on. How much health do I have to give you for you to get out of this?
Move, damn it. That's all I need you to do. This was it right here. Right back into the action. That's why Ares is your Steel Series MVP for Game 3.
I just want to say, like, you got to, like, say, is Barrick the pick when he's got that big old noggin? Like, he eats headshots for breakfast. I mean, they talked about it right up there. Like, he's just a head on wheels, really. Because it really is such an easy headshot. And, he just gets picked apart. It's like, well, I'm here, and there goes my shield, and I'm an engineer, and I don't want to be here.
Yeah, but they also picked Kinessa, like, let me see. I believe Barrick what's the last pick? I think.
I don't know. I mean, he can line of sight here, right? Like, he can kind of return poke with the Tinkerin. Maybe they're thinking, oh, he'll stand out of the way and he'll get Tinkerin damage, and maybe that'll make up for the fact that we really don't have, like, confirmation. We only have pure damage. But, I mean, Ares rotated enough to make it so that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Well, now let's find out the map here and see where Envy's taking us, and we're going to Bitey's home turf.
Bitey can visit his pappy.
His office.
Over at Timber Mill.
Timber Mill.
grandpa with another load of lumber.
No,
to
hey,
get
your
off.
grandpa worked at Splitstone Quarry. Your father worked at Timbermill. Bitey, you got to get your story straight,
Look,
buddy.
look, you know, my father and my grandfather, they opened a
Your
business.
father's your grandfather?
And both of them opened a business at Timbermill, and I tell you what.
How does that work? I need to like Ancestry.com this son of a gun because I'm very confused here.
Like, can you draw me up a chart between these games? I really think I'm gonna need it.
Yeah,
I'll show you the great family tree of the coach's family.
and then we all find out that in the end, it really was the Borker that was Bitey's dad. So Bitey's actually a plush dog.
I would not be shocked.
Half human, half plush dog. That actually makes a ton of sense if you know Bitey. Okay, so we're gonna go to the picks and bans here in just a second. But Timbermill, we didn't really talk about it all that much. This is NV's pick. Frog Owl was NV's pick. What's going on? I'm so confused. Crescent called me.
It's another. The mic's gonna have too much. Timbermill in general, it's a pokey map, right? Like just like Frog though, in a weird way. But it's unlike Frog in the sense that the flankers can't get in as easily, especially if the tanks can lock down the sides. Now that the map's been changed to lack that extra flank route, Envy can use their strong tank play to try to lock down those sides and keep them from pressuring Rock Monkey.
I think they really do not want to allow any free poke at all. But here we go, picks and bans, Bitey. I'm excited.
Well, I honestly, you know, on a serious note about Timbermill, like Envy played phenomenally against Kanga, and Kanga studies these kind of maps to pull it out, and Envy played it meticulously well. I mean, they've already just instant banned 2 snipers. Like, get them out of the way. We got our booklet right here. Meta Pusher is trying to figure something out and pull him a win.
Those are some respect bans right there.
Oh yeah, especially after that last game. But Timbermill with snipers and without snipers it's a totally different game, you know. So the fact that they're doing this means like, yeah, we've practiced Timbermill without snipers. We don't really want to go to Timbermill with snipers. Not right now.
And it's similar to the last time. They immediately banned their snipers. I'm not sure if the con was free the last time we saw the Timbermill gameplay here, but again, you know, Envy just comes to these maps with a plan, similar to probably what Kanga prepared, you know, but they obviously did it a little bit better. So I'm really curious, is Envy going to be able to withstand this Frozen God Eevee?
I'm not sure. I mean, Khan, we know he struggles on maps with big differences in elevation, and Timbermill is differences in elevation the map. It's you just staring up at people above you going, can you please stop shooting me? I'd like to play the game now. SSG picking up the Eevee and Ruckus. Oh, Eevee specifically was, I think, something that has always been really good on Timber. And Eevee above you shooting down for that 850 poke while using the safety of the height to artificially heighten her health pool is really powerful.
I'm really curious if someone's going to pick a Torvald here. He's left on the table. SSG, they have the Eevee already. This is so reminiscent of the game that I watched just yesterday with Eevee, and you know, maybe there's going to be a Torv with it.
Welcome here.
And Envy are going to take the Inara first time this whole series.
Yeah, and it's interesting because this is one of the worst maps, in my opinion, at least for standing on point. I mean, because you're basically just, if both teams are going to be on their high ground, on all the high grounds, you're basically just standing in the blender. Waiting to become a Inara smoothie.
Yeah.
That's where Inara lives, is in the blender. I
It's
think
a very
she'll do all right
earthy
down there.
smoothie, kind of like a kale smoothie. I know Pretty Hair really likes those.
I don't think that's going to go down very well, I'll be honest.
If you need help, don't hesitate to ask.
I think the Inara is a good pick.
spinach, and
I'm just saying.
Would you prefer kale in your smoothie or rocks?
a little bit of, you know, I don't know. Ask Pretty Hair. But you know, hey, you know, it's good for the hair follicles. So
Here we go, Torvald, old man, coming out. Haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, finally the Torvald's going to be out here.
And that's good with the Eevee. Help her with the sustain to be able to hold that high ground. Probably most likely retaking the high ground from the Cassie Leon poke that want to stay up there and spam down the whole time.
Are you even looking at this SSG draft? There's no point thing. It's all damage and like focusing on let's kill him, let's get him done, and let's get him out of the way. So it's going to be such an interesting composition here because you got Khan and Inara who both kind of take damage like champs. So
It's all
my
damage.
goodness.
It's just all damage.
They're going to be all over the place.
my
They're
God.
going to be trying to take every roof. They're trying to be on all corners.
All right, Kresnik, what do you got?
I can't fight Torv, Eevee, Ruckus on Timbermill. I'll have to say SSG.
SSG.
I agree. Like, I'm unanimous this time because that Victor and Torv, yikes.
Yeah, that could be a big yikes. SSG have a pretty solid draft, but Envy have something surely up their sleeves. It's now time to start Game 4. We're going over to Bitey's grandfather's workplace, hometown, Timbermill. Pastors, over to you.
Well, there's a lot of questions I have after that desk, yeah. But I think a lot of the questions, at least in this set, are going to be answered here, Nick. It's a really dangerous draft. I think that both of us, and even the desk, looked at SSG and said, wow, Victor, Torv, Eevee. I mean, you don't have to stand on the objective here.
They committed. What SSG had done is said, we are going to pick a comp that's better at winning this fight. We're going to win the fight, and then we'll worry about the point. Now, if Envy can survive long enough, that's where the Sonora is going to live. She's going to start to pay off a little bit more. I'm really curious, man. This is, I believe, the first best of 7 set we've had with the additional map ban for each team. So things are going to get interesting. Teams are going to be pushed a little bit further than they have in the past.
And I don't mind Timbermill here as well. Envy had a plan. We'll see if it works out. I have to trust FRC God's Eevee. In fact, if you follow the Eevee, you follow the wins in this set. Eevee's won every single game. So this could go the way of SSG and put them 1 win away from the finals of the PWC. But that's a big Commander's grab. Now he needs a bubble or some healing. He gets the second. And now it's going to hopefully give him some time. Another little bit of healing from his own loadout card. Flicker there on the wormhole. And now Team Envy still 45%, but getting the pressure.
Forcing the Sonara off the objective. 45% captured for Team Envy, but no first blood has been drawn just yet. FRC looked like he wanted to go up there. Crosshair definitely told me that he did. Aries poking out from long distance here. Again, though, SSG have to win the fight. They cannot just AFK or Inara will steal this right out from under them.
You know what's so nice about this? They're forcing her in the guard. Here on the other side, Rubu is really going to be a nuisance. And this is what FRC has to manage. He's got to figure out a way to get damage on the point, help to get rid of Tolki, but also not die to Rubu, who is consistently trying to flank him. And now Rock Monkey has moved a little dangerously close for my liking here if I'm SSG. 81% and counting still, and suddenly it looks like Envy are ready to push out.
They're kind of committing here, though. Torvald's moving around. They're starting to look for a frag. Someone is going to die in the next 10 seconds. First blood goes to FRZ, or for FRZ God. He falls first.
And I think that's it, Nick. I think that is going to do it. Envy have looked fantastic going into this, and now there's really no chance for them at all. Impulse being used as well by Rock Monkey. Notably, I question it on Aries when he played the Cassie, but now it seems like Envy have also agreed that this is the choice, at least for now, and it's Envy taking point 1.
Envy play extremely safe there. They're putting Leon up there with Maldamba, Khan, and Cassie are together. There's really no easy way for FRZ God to get in there to get that first blood, and Envy just slow play it, slow burn it, keep Inara down on the objective, and that was that.
And you know, I wonder if it's just the decision making on where to stand, and if we'll see Space Station make an adjustment here. But Rubu is one of the best in my opinion, on Khan. When he gets that overpower, it's usually a sure death, and he is somehow always having it available. And there's the overpower. This should be a dead FRC God, and it certainly is. Rock Monkey finding Sadak as well, so that's just 2 for the trouble. And now Aries, he may go down, but he gets a Torvald bubble and a little bit of healing.
SSG not really looking like they know what to do much with this, and this composition is going to be real bad at defense. There's not a lot of staying power for SSG. They have got to be on the offense here because they simply cannot afford to let go of the gas pedal. Once they get displaced, it's going to be really, really rough for them. I'm surprised at the way this has gone, though. I mean, Envy pulled the same draft, the same bans, basically, that they did against Kanga yesterday. SSG have had the exposure to what Team Envy are going to look like on this map.
So I think like yes and no, and I'll slightly disagree, but like I agree with what you're saying, that it's much better on the fight and attack. But I think the one thing that they've got going for them on defense is the distraction of FRZ God in the back line, just being able to like turn some heads, maybe take Rock Monkey or Random Noob away from the fight. But also the Shrapnel Victor with Torvald Bubble. That is a lot of damage, and that's poking them out very well, and it's making it hard for Envy to push cohesively without losing somebody.
A little bit of barrage action here. Khan blocks the first one, Khan blocks the second one. Khan will block the third one, getting collapsed on by 2, though. Sadak and FRZ together hold hands and take down Rubu.
And how long do you let Inara push? That's the question, because Sadak is here making sure that the damage doesn't go with Inara, and if they do that, they should be able to burst her down. She's got no healing, she's got no damage pressure, and there's Aries finding Tolki, and they save Sadak. Oh man, this is a very, very clinical Timbermill fight with not a lot of resources to defend, as you mentioned, Nick, but they are using all of the ones they have perfectly.
So far, Envy haven't been able to get close to the objective here. Torvald making sure that he stays with Aries.
Shrapnel.
Maybe this is the difference here. Sadak and FRZ, if they work together, that's what was lacking, right? I don't really know where Sadak was playing from. They hyper beam just to make sure that they don't have to send this one in overtime.
I mean, that's all, like, what does hyper beam do on the point?
Nothing really.
Right, I mean, that's the perfect use of it, and they guarantee a defense, they guarantee guarantee another chance at offense. I like it from SSG. Envy, though, looked good on the objective fight. I wonder if they have to change anything.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't expect Envy to change anything, and that's the only advantage that SSG have going into this round. They know what is going to happen to them. I think SSG, they need to make an adjustment here. What worked a little bit later on in that round, albeit it's a different part of the map, so things just naturally will change, is Sadak and FRZ got going together. They might just have to look to box out with Rock and Rubu on that high ground there and try and win that over. That way, FRZ God, all it costs him is a blink to get to Leon and Ying, and he could just constantly be poking them. He's going to not be able to get to the Cauterize 2 mark. Sadak, however, is. So that's actually a big thing to note, is that FRZ God's still sitting on Cauterize 1, not close enough to wait it out either. He has got to get into the action.
Look at that, Ice Block and Blink already, plus a 12-ball bubble. But look at Shrapnel. It shreds Random Noob's health, but that's where Mr. Hayes is staying. So they both have healers set up on those perches. He's trying to go for the 200 IQ grenade, and he actually ends up finding good damage. And now it's time for somebody on SSG to push.
I kind of want Sadak and FRZ to get in there, just try and follow this up.
Nothing.
Just can't get these shells out, and almost gets nothing in terms of even targeting someone else. He finds the first blood there. FRZ God is in trouble. Ares tries to bail him out, but fails.
You know what? This is such an interesting fight because it feels like there's a lot of ways that SSG can make it happen, but they haven't quite hit the source code, as you had mentioned earlier, and they're just making the mistakes. They're not executing. Envy, on the meanwhile, have a lineup that seems to just win outright.
This is what I don't like from SSG. So where they're putting Sadak right now, he's in position to just put pressure on the Sonara. She can retreat, and he can keep pressure on her. Sure, whatever. That's not what I feel like this composition was drafted to do.
Right.
I want to see FRZ God and Sadak go on that high ground. Look at all the pressure that Ares put on. He put Random Noob at like one shot. I'm like, if Sadak and FRZ are there, they win that fight. They just obliterate those two champions.
Do you think they're worried about maybe the overpower?
I don't know how that gets exploited. I don't know why Sadak even feels the need to fight for that right side high ground.
I'm not sure as well. It seems like the big problem, though, is Random Noob as well on that Leon. When Leon is alive, the death and taxes, you don't realize it if you're not a normal Paladins viewer. I'm sure many of you are, but the 90% anti-heal the death and taxes bring is basically 1,800 credits worth of an item. It is the most important item in Paladins. That Cauterize, as long as she's alive, is getting applied all the time and will always shift the fight towards their front line's favor, who have the Sign of House Aiko on their team. So they've got to figure out a way to get him off the board.
That's another thing for Sadak. Because of that anti-heal, she builds Wrecker, and she's basically the best champion on the lineup to just poke out at Ruckus. He is sitting so far kind of out in the open there. He's not really getting effective poke. I don't think there's a single way he gets a kill on it, either of those backliners. So again, if it ain't broke, it's not going to be fixed here. I think Envy will run back the same style in the next round, and SSG have got to change up how they approach the point.
But can they get the defense here? That's the big question, because there's 60 seconds remaining, and Envy look a little stronger here on this push, and some of these tanks look a little lower here, Nick, as well. That's a nice scout. They're going for it. Slade, FRZ God goes down, and there's the Hexafire in response. Sadak can't find a kill, and now that's a problem because they've wasted one of their most important ultimates to finish off some damage dealers. Random Noob, he's got to go down. They know that this Death and Taxes needs to fall, but it's the only two things guaranteed in life, they say, and he's still going to make it out. Mr. Hayes is on point. They waste the Dread Serpent because Sadak still gets the kill, but there is an Inara still on the objective.
And Mr. Hayes basically just walks him down after the fact. The support for Team Envious has been so crucial on Frog Isle, though they did lose that game, and he is looking good yet again here on Timber Mill.
And this honestly is some really good play from Ares. Mr. Hayes comes in big. He finds the kill onto the damage dealer. He takes it into his own hands. Look at this, trying to get the flick shot, but Rock Monkey, as good as he is, can't hit FRZ God in the air with Switch with Eevee, and he gets an Ice Storm in response. He claps back. Rock Monkey finds Sadak, and now the Hyper Beam from Rachao is ended a little earlier than he would have expected. This is going to be a push. Envy, one game, 1 point away from tying it up.
I actually think that was a mid-air stun thrown by Mr. Hayes to shut down the Hyper Beam. I thought it was the Inara ultimate at first, but that is still up and available. I mean, that was incredible. Mr. Hayes, again, he's had 2 rounds now where you have to say he just hard carries it.
And he wastes the Dread Serpent as well. It's not a waste, it's a great attempt. And you think maybe that's going to be an issue. He's already at 73%. You know, by the time you start finishing the middle or maybe the early part of that first fight, he's going to have it back if he just heals. And so this is a very good spot for the Moldava to be in possession, giving him some damage reduction, Nick, in case FRZ God blinks on him a little earlier than he would have expected.
They got to change it up, though. That's I've talked about it enough.
That's
I know
writings.
you guys know what I want to see SSG do here. FRZ God has his Cauterize 2 online. Sadak doesn't go for the Cauterize 3 just yet. We'll have to see if that comes to impact here. Same little kind of opener here for Envy. And it looks like Sadak has changed up where he's going to go. He's going to try and win this battle over here against Rubu and Rock.
Alignment. It was used. I don't know how.
Overpower.
It didn't find a kill. Overpowering FRZ God and Rock Monkey and Random Noob. They end up finding the delayed triple kill, respectively. Rubu getting in on it. Everybody with an R in the first part of your name gets a kill here on Timbermill. And 18% and counting. But, you know, it's a little bit aggressive here on the zone. And there's still somebody in the back line. Look at that.
Absolutely. Sadak.
All the way in their back line.
Never died. He went on the side of the map that I wanted him to go, but he didn't pressure the champions that I think would have been best for him. It's just been no contest on the back line. I really haven't felt the pressure from this Ruckus this time around.
Oh, and now he gets the Dread Serpent, but can they kill him? He's going to have the emitter. Pops it immediately, goes back to the Missile Barrage. And now Envy are getting pushed back here, and all they need is a few moments. Another big stun from Mr. Hayes, but I think they've ceded the territory that they needed to Sadak and SSG.
There's a seismic crash coming through here. This could be messy. SSG have got to clean this up. Rubu manages to pick up Ares.
Sadak.
I don't know where from. Sadak finds Tolki.
Oh, no.
Envy are just not out of it.
Uh-oh, but what a heal. That Dread, that Gourd from Mr. Hayes did save at least that moment. But it doesn't mean that it's going to save the game here. FRZ God is an Ice Storm, and it's really about how he uses it. He gets the Ying healing, and there's Rock Monkey ready to fire away. 11 streak for him. FRZ God with an Ice Storm, and he just slays and sprays the Eevee and says, not today, buddy. Timbermill looks like it's going the way of Envy.
Finally, a really big game for Rock Monkey there. That's the second time on camera that we saw him just go toe-to-toe with an Ice Storm there.
Say no problem.
Obliterate the Eevee. No issues. That's going to tie up the set.
That was some nice play, and you could tell this is going to be a slugfest. We at least have 6 games out of 7 in this best-of-7 semifinal at the Paladins World Championship here at Dreamhack Atlanta. HRX is shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, SSG just feels like they really didn't know what they wanted to do there with that composition. They went twice for a strategy that simply didn't work in the first round. They switch it up a little bit, but it's like kind of thematically still the same idea. They just executed it a little bit differently.
What's important, though, is they've still stolen that home field advantage. If they win out and lose on the maps that Envy picks, they will still win this set. Let's send it back to the desk. It is tied up 2-2 here in the semis.
You love to see it there, guys. 2-2. Envy managed to bounce back on their map pick of Timbermill. Welcome back to the Alienware Desk, folks. Got Golden Boy, Kresnik, and Bitey here. So let's dive into this one because there were a lot of unique picks coming out of that draft, but Envy made that game quick work, if you will. It was like this. That's what they did. That's how it felt like, at least.
Yeah, I know they've been practicing double tank on Timbermill for a long time. Even when everyone was like, oh, that's a quad DPS map, you know, people were just messing around with that. They were still practicing double tank on Timbermill. Now that we're in a meta that's basically double tank or bust, I mean, their practice with it shows. They had Rubu locking down that side roof with Rock Monkey. They had the Inara getting a ton of cap time and knowing exactly when to rotate away from that Ruckus pressure. Like, you can tell they were ready for Timbermill.
But there was a lot of concern, though, about just being on point, right? Being on point and getting just, you said, the blender, right? Just getting hit with the blender, becoming that Kale Stone smoothie, right?
She honestly thrives in that stuff. I mean, Inara just sits there, takes it, and then as long as your player knows, all right, it's time to get out of the blender, I need a break, he just walks away. And I think the biggest thing that we can look at and say where SSG kind of messed up is that it didn't look like they really had the idea of what are we doing with this Torvin, Eevee, and Ruckus. I mean, Pretty Hair was calling it. It just looked like it was a little bit messy. They didn't have, like, their zones picked out of where they want to press and how they want to take control. And because they have point tanks on the other team and they've got a great con over there, it's like you need to make the plays. It's on you to make the difference. And their defense is just struggle.
Yeah, it definitely did. And let's take a look at the post-game stats now. Rock Monkey, good showing from him. Yeah, overall, nothing too wild here, right? I think the thing that kind of sticks out to me is just FRC God not really being much of a factor, but I think that also comes into play that, you know, Rachal just wasn't really much of a factor either, and then from there, everything kind of just snowballs, right? Everything gets worse and worse and worse when things aren't clicking.
Yeah, Evie relies a lot on the pressure that her team can make. Torv can kind of help her a little bit in the sense where that just bubbling her is enough pressure for most situations, but the rest of the team wasn't really doing the same thing. Yeah. They didn't have enough damage or enough focus to stop Envy from doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah, you have this incredible, you know, incredibly complex puzzle,
yes,
right? And you're trying to put it together, but for some reason you just can't quite figure out certain pieces, and that's kind of what ended up happening here with SSG. Now they're in a situation where they get to pick their upcoming map. Surely they're going to have this conversation of like, all right, maybe we go back to the basics, maybe we try and do our thing, you know, try and play our hand here. Bitey, your thoughts overall on what we saw from the post-game stats, but really just SSG moving forward here. Are you worried for this team at all?
No. Like, you got to realize that it is Timbermill. You know, my grandfather, you know, it's a different map, honestly.
Your
like
grandfather.
That's right. He
was also your uncle.
You know, he makes that map pretty hard to figure out because it is so different. You're looking at a Torv and a Ruckus against some point tanks. You're like, well, maybe we just don't have the drafting as locked down as we thought we could.
And your Steel Series MVP is the Rock Monkey. He had an 8.0 KDA, 66,000 damage, and Cassie, yet again, has just been such a consistent presence in this entire tournament.
She's the mid-range DPS that does the burst damage. I mean, this is a meta where mid-range DPS are really good, burst damage is really good. She has both, and Rock Monkey was pairing so well with Rubu, and that's why they're able to duel FRZ God almost every time they tried to come in.
It really is that synergy that this Envy team has that's just so outstanding, Bitey.
And like the biggest point that he brings up is that Khan can shout, he can pull the Eevee. We saw him, you know, Frozen God's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the healer, he's alone, and then Rubu's like,
Just slurps him right back.
Come here.
Yeah.
You're done with this.
No, very true. And now the choice for Spacestation Gaming in Map 5 will be Serpent Beach. Nighttime. We're going to where your mom is hanging out.
My front yard.
Your front yard.
Front yard.
Just every map in Paladins is based around Bitey's life. That's basically where we're going.
Do you have like a weird aunt or uncle that lives in Frozen God?
My brother's. You've seen my brother with his hair and his beard. He moves up north.
Yeah, he's more of a northern boy. Okay, fair enough. Well, there's Meta Pusher talking over with his team what they want to do.
Boy, does he always look good in that outfit. He's always like, he looks like a coach. He just needs the clipboard in front of his mouth, and he would look perfect.
What a handsome devil.
I am actually going to go to Meta and be like, dude, put a clipboard in front of your mouth. Trust me, you'll look like a freaking awesome dude. Like you will be the guy. I mean, look at the stash there. I mean, come on, you know, like there's just.
Meta would be able to get anywhere in this like facility.
Yeah.
With that, looking like that, he could just walk in and be like, oh, sorry.
All you got to do is look like you belong here, baby. That's it. I've lost my badge, and I've managed to do just fine. I don't know if I can say that out loud with security. All right, so back to the picks and bans here. Fernando and Leanne are going to go. Then Makoa and Khan on the Envy side. Inara locked down right away for Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, she's really good at pressuring across. Like they're removing the Nando, which is definitely I think the best tank for pressuring high ground, and Inara is almost second. I think there's just you have to put so much focus on her. She can get up close, put up a wall. You put in so much resources damage-wise to stop her that she just gets rehealed behind her wall. If you drop to contest her, then you're giving up high ground just to fight this Inara.
Envy's drafts are just remarkable to think about. You know, you're going Ruckus and Cassie first. I don't think any of the other teams have really been putting this kind of thought into picking the way that they do. It's like, even though they get Inara, they don't even take Ying, which is so unique to their own style. And it's like we were talking about earlier, they build their own meta with what works for them. And I think it's commendable to see if it works out here because, I mean, they just put in so much work to figure this out.
It really does feel like Ruckus and Cassie are kind of just like your base canvas for which you then add on onto. And Envy have kind of done that time and time again. But then we get the Eevee and Ying pick here for SSG.
Yeah, Eevee, of course, really good. Influential this whole set, and great on Serpent because of the height differential. One thing I wanted to point out was I think Envy is going for the Cassie now. They wanted to take it from SSG because I don't know if they want Rock on Victor anymore. Not that he wasn't performing admirably, but Victor, when he does his job, he's just doing a ton of damage. He's not necessarily getting these crazy confirms, but I think they need Rock to do this insane carry potential that they're used to having him on. Since Victor shifted into the meta, maybe it's been hurting them a little bit having him on this not as
Cassie
showy.
Is the confirmed character
Yes.
for them. Ooh. Well, SSG are going to take Victor.
I like it. I mean, with the Ying up here, Eevee's going to have a lot of health reset. There's and the Torvald. This reminds me of Fnatic's draft with this kind of power Victor. You know, he's the kind of guy, like his only weakness is that when he gets dove on, he's a little weak.
But they need that synergy to click for Spacestation Gaming, or else they're going to find themselves in a very similar position, just like they were in on Timbermill. Let's see what Envy's last pick is going to be. They did manage to secure the Maldamba and the Ashe. The final pick coming through, and it's the Androxus. Real quick, guys, who do you got?
I think I'm going to go with Envy this time. This is the same draft on SSG without Ruckus.
Yeah, I think I go with Envy as well. I think they can kite the pressure from the Eevee well enough while Rock will just farm the back line.
All right, well, let's see if Envy are going to make this one into a 3-2, or will SSG get the lead once again? Let's send it over here to your casters, for this amazing Serpent Beach battle. You have Pretty Hair and Rain Day.
Thanks, Alex. It is going to be an amazing battle here on Serpent Beach. It's nighttime, the only nighttime themed map in all of Paladins, and it does set the mood. It sets the mood for a very interesting kind of dance, maybe a tango between two top teams here in the world.
I think the sun sets on this game as well. Like you mentioned, I think that map, the home court advantage, so to speak, is really important for SSG to maintain. And I think definitely down the stretch, meta pusher and just having that additional opinion in the draft and the way they've set up really nicely for this one, it's just going to give them so much value.
And it's who expects it, right? I mean, the Cassie Ruckus, and it's just such a different style of game and a different style of draft. But it all comes down to this moment here. Game 5 will tilt the favor one way or the other and set a team up to go to the Paladins World Championship with a win in Game 6. But let's sit it down now to the players to tell us what's going to go down. It's Rubu with the Fortress Breaker Ashe. The Impulse Cassie still prioritized for these teams.
What a power draft here for Team Envy. I mean, really, really good stuff. Tolki's looked phenomenal on the Ruckus. That's been an incredibly pivotal pick for him. I think you got to look also at Sadak, the way he's going to be able to transition. Neither of these frontliners necessarily able to get super aggressive. Sadak has got to change his play style a little bit. He's going to get pretty aggressive initially. Great wall there. Did he block off Rubu? No, Rubu squeaks away.
That was super lucky, but Rachel finds Rock Monkey. Oh, and you can see the Nullify cooldown has been used. Andro's a good champ, but if Andro has no abilities, he actually kind of sucks.
A lot of champions suck with that little
Maybe not Vivian.
there.
Maybe not Vivian.
Yeah, you know, certainly you can left click all day, baby. Good stuff though from the boys. That's absolutely something Rock Monkey will have to be hyper aware of going forward. If Ares can play half as good as Bittner did on the other day with Victor on this map, I think SSG will be just fine.
But I think the difference here is the respect. I don't think Bittner in that matchup really respected what G2 were able to do offensively back to him. And Envy have definitely proven that they are threats. Threats to not be taken lightly, though 87% and counting for SSG makes them the most dangerous team on the board. Sadak finding Tolki and the barrage being used. I think this is going to be SSG pretty cleanly.
Wow, it looks like it just might be Rock Monkey quiet in this first round, looking for his first couple of kills, trying to stay away from Torvald. Rock has had a lot of caveats, a lot of things he's had to do before he can do his job today, and it is showing a little bit.
Very hard, Nick, because at this point we haven't even seen Rock go up against FRZ God. I mean, he's died to the Torvald. He's had to go and touch for overtime. There's not been a lot of opportunities for him to get some wiggle room, and that's what Androxus really excels with, right? When someone creates space for him, and then he's your second thought that ends up being your first thought after that.
It's really, really tough, man. I don't know how he's going to operate around this Torvald. Surprised to see it go 9th there. It fell flat on its face last game, so I think Envy maybe just forgot about it, weren't worried about it, whatever it was. Tolki has penetrated the backline successfully, though, and he is absolutely absolutely ripping these front lines.
And I mean, I love FRZ God and how liberal he is with these ice storms. I mean, he's able to use them on just an isolated pick. He's really not worried. He just finds a carry and just says, hey, press E. Let's see if I can get the kill. And he doesn't need any help, by the way. But that ice storm with the cripple means that he just gets some simple shots that end up working out in his favor most of the time. A minute and 32 now, and SSG keep on moving.
Honestly, I got to give a lot of credit to Aries today as well for SSG. I think he's been really, really strong. 2 kills come through. If everyone can just stay stable here, everyone looking good so far. It's a surprise Hexafire though from the back line. Tolki, again, he's got to be my MVP of the set so far for Team Envy. He's got to keep it up though if they want to close out.
And you know what? Aries with a double kill, and he finds the front line, and then he finds the support. Ash, you better rally here right now. Otherwise, this rally's about to be over. Aries is shutting it down. The god of war from Brazil takes on Rock Monkey, gets a kill, and now FRZ God gets in the action. The assert dominance is over, and now SSG are ready to roll.
Tolki's the only hope. He has gotten into the back line. Have they forgotten about him? It's another ice storm there, trying to lock him down. I think Tolki may have just saved them. He will buy them just a little bit of time, and the map control forced to be given up by SSG.
The Rocket Barrage, you can tell that this is something they're heavily paying for, and Rock Monkey has not been effective, and you just got to call it the way you see it. He hasn't found anything. It's been kind of like that accursed arm. And the best thing he got from it was killing a Ying clone. Goes in the ice block. FRZ God, big shot, but it doesn't hit somehow. Random dude narrowly stays alive in the push. Happens behind our back. It was Rachao who never went down, and now it's 2-0 Space Station advantage.
Uh-oh, Envy, those are the types of mistakes, those are the types of moments that can break you. They have to be stone cold through this. Realize, all right, we got to brush that one off there. It's a rough first round for the boys in blue. Tolki, the only one close to even going positive there. 0-4, 0-3 starts for the Purity boys, rocking Rubu.
Big moment there. Finds that, then grenade finds Mr. Cage. The Slither tries to stay in line of sight with the Ash, because if he leaves her around, tries to go back to base, the Ash dies. He probably dies as well. So at least he keeps her alive for the assert dominance, but it's not enough, Nick. Envy, they are looking beaten. They are looking beleaguered. Space Station Gaming, one objective, and I say this game's probably theirs.
And right after that moment as well, Aries goes toe-to-toe with Rock Monkey, gets a critical heal, stays alive, and gets the kill. That's such a fast round as well. I want to take one quick look at the items here. Did Envy actually get any level 2s online? Rubu did, Tolki did. Okay, so they're going to hang in there. Rock Monkey was not able to get the record 2 online.
Oh, no.
But that's not going to be a big deal.
Grenade coming for you. You know it's about to happen, and I think this Torvald has been so successful. And I'm sorry, I've been saying Rachao was actually on the Inara, but that's the Nox's turn this time around. So he was the one in the back line, and Rachao has just been so good on these bubbles and these silences when he needs to, making sure that the flanks pay.
This time, it's just a different story. It's a little bit slower of a round here, opening things up. Rock Monkey takes a big shot there, and Aries puts him in the dirt.
Big time stuff. Ice Storm coming out emitter in response as well. Team Envy lost 2, but they can't lose anymore if they want a chance. They don't get one. SSG 3-0.
Evan, this doesn't feel like the Inara team, you know what I mean? I mean, they are not giving up anything to Team Envy. They're getting aggressive, and they're putting Inara on the objective. They are not winning this fight through passive play here. They are getting in the faces of Team Envy. They want to stay in the lead.
I have never seen Rock Monkey look befuddled, but he does. It looks like he doesn't know where to go. And where do you go, Nick? What do you do? Aries is so safe. He's got Torvald near him. Nullify, you're dead. FRZ God's too fast to catch. He's like lightning in a bottle, and he is striking more than once, I'll tell you that.
I think it's a 9th pick Torvald, man. It's just gone unaccounted for, under the noses of Team Envy. You get that really impactful first blood. That just kind of sets the tone for this game, and Rock's just kind of shook by that. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that Torvald for the rest of the game.
These bubbles are not only doing well to keep FRZ God alive, give the shrapnel bonus damage, because it's 30% movement, 30% damage, and probably 50% movement with Wind Dancer. If you want to take a look at Torvald's loadout right now, so we can educate some of the viewers who maybe aren't familiar with this character, but it's really all about the Wind Dancer, and of course, Time Shaper, reducing the cooldown of protection, making sure he has it up as fast as possible.
CC immunity, I mean, could have been CK. Resilience cheap, man. You got to play the game in front of you, brother. You got to get to this back line at some point. Silenced out. Tolki's got nowhere to go. SSG full steam ahead.
I can't believe this, Nick. This is getting close here. The fans are starting to get going. I can see SSG starting to feel it. 50 seconds now. Barrage is ready. You've got 20% on the Cassie Scout. Dread Serpent not even close. Ying, Illusory Rift about to go. Ares hits the gas pedal. Can he find one? Nick, he goes for it. There's a Hexafire as well. Whoever makes it out of this, I think, is holding or pushing. But it's FRZ got an Ares. FRZ got finds a second, and now just Ash available.
Tolkien's going down here. One more blink from FRZ got it, and it's all good. The objective, the road home is clear. The finish line is in sight, and SSG roll it through 4-0.
Oh my word. Woo! Space Station are taking us higher and higher. Their play has gotten only better in this tournament. They have battled through the PWC qualifier land, 6 brutal days of 15 teams from all around the world, and they made it through. They have taken down NIP, the 2nd seed in Europe. And now they are close to taking down the 1st seed in NA and making the first ever international team outside of Europe appearance at Hi-Rez Expo PWC Finals.
They showed up to this event with bloodstains on their boots. Envy with, polished sets of armor, looking good, feeling good, but now you can see the looks on their faces. They're a team that has got to remain cold.
1 win away. Let's send it back to the desk.
Poor Borker. You shouldn't be exposed to that kind of beating. It's not what you want to see. There are children in the crowd, man. SSG. Oh, spicy. It's too much. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Okay.
Cool it off, cool it off.
I don't even know what to break down, because
I got a few words.
Okay, what are your words here, Bitey?
Well, there's one man who's got that mean glare. His name is Victor. And when you give him a Torvald, Super Victor. Victor. I just want to say, I don't think they have seen it. Fnatic is the first one who did that, and you're like, it's crazy. He just kills everything. Eevee's around doing something, and then you got Big Vic.
Laying down the damage. No, you know that they've definitely been watching the games. I mean, there's no way Envy wasn't watching the games. They were not here, and they even ran it during the qualifiers. Fnatic, that's the first time they ran it. So I'm surprised they didn't see it at least somewhat telegraphed.
Yeah.
But that Victor just stopped the damage. You can't take Plat against a bubbled Victor with the just the amount of damage he lays down. They had to try to outpoke it, and they just forced the issue on the other sides of the map and didn't let him.
Yeah, and I think we had said that Envy don't really want to have Rock Monkey on the Victor, and that makes sense, right? But then SSG's like, oh, well, I'll go ahead and take that, and then, he'll go ahead and transcend into give him some blue hair. I don't know. So here we are, post-game stats now. Space Station Gaming, look at that. Look who was the superstar of that game. Ares, as Rainday likes to say, the God of War from Brazil. You gotta say it. You gotta say it. And 88,000 damage. Most in the lobby. Decimated everyone there.
See, I said Victor lacks pop-off potential, but I wasn't talking about Ultra Instinct Super Victor at all. I mean, that Victor is, they would probably be fine with Rock on that.
Yeah, you were talking about gray hair, aura Victor with a little gray in his eyes. Yes, no, that's not who you're talking about. You were talking about normal Victor, right? More like KO Ken Victor.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Totally get that. Okay, so now Envy back against the wall here. Team that everyone believed would be going to the finals. This is not looking good, and it's because of Ares. It's because of what this player has been able to do, and that is why in this game, he is your Seal Series MVP. I mean, was there any question, Bitey?
No, not at all. When Victor is given the space to do what he wants and not worry about, oh man, if I get dived, I could die. Victor's only weakness is his position, his health, and how fast he can move. When you eliminate the need to worry about dying, Victor can just walk up to any DPS and just blow them up. I think the big thing that Envy kind of forgot here, this is a hot set, guys. This is an emotional investment, and they probably just forgot that this is a thing, and Fnatic brought it out. We've seen SSG try it now, and it's a major damage dealer. And what they're going to have to do is just blow this game off and get back to what they want to play, and remember all these drafts that can potentially come out on their next map pick.
Well, they don't have a choice, right? They don't have a choice. It's do or die at this point in time. If Envy lose, that is it. North America will not make it to the Paladins World Championship Final, and for the first time, we will have a team from the South American region there competing against Na'Vi. Na'Vi sitting pretty looking at these games and are like, oh yeah, we love the slugfest. Give us all the information, all the knowledge, and now we're going to be going to Stone Keep. That is Envy's choices. They had lost Serpent Beach 4-0, as you see right there. Gentlemen, this one could realistically go the distance, and I would not be mad.
Yeah, me either. I mean, this has been a great set all over without drafts, without plays, with just an EV being played like every single
Nessa
round.
popping off on Frog Isle, like everything that you could possibly want has happened in this game.
I just think that Envy needs to get the EV back on their side and potentially get the Inara. Like, there's a lot of different things that they need to start figuring out what they want to get into here to make this work, because it's kind of on the line here. You know, there's no other games after this. This is your last chance. So they just need to really stop for a moment, think about what they're going to draft on this map. Stone Keep, it's a standard map. Nobody's unprepared for it. It's just draft right, draft smart, and then more importantly, play smart.
I mean, I guess as we go into the picks and bans now, can you even predict what Space Station's going to do? It's very hard.
I think so. I mean, I think
so?
only in the sense that they're going to want either they're probably going to want either a blaster or a flanker for Freeze God, and they're going to want a backline for Ares. And knowing that, they can kind of predict what's coming next in the draft from what's taken, and maybe just try to at least limit one DPS. I don't think they can limit both.
Gonna have to make a choice here. Torvald's gonna go, so at the very least, you remove Torvald out. Safe ban there. Won't be able to make the Super Victor, protect the Eevee, anything like that. Makoa's out. Fernando's out. Space Station knows that Envy like to play that Fernando. And Envy just goes straight for Inara. Great point presence there with that front line.
I think what you're looking at here is Envy kind of just backing up and going to a more traditional draft here. I think SSG might be predicting something like that. They do have technically another game in case something goes wrong, but it's like, you know, they do have comfort on triple DPS. We've seen them do it before. With so many tanks banned, it starts getting into the deep pocket for all these tanks, depending on where they're really good. You can see they already took Ash and Ruckus. I mean, I don't think there's anybody left.
It's just down to Barrack.
Yeah. And that's a yikes. You don't want the Barrack.
Bitey's starting to yike up here. We might have to get a little word already.
It's getting a little hot, you know. Bitey over here, he's got to undo the tie a little bit. He's got a big head. That's right. All right. Well, with the Ash and Ruckus locked for Space Station Gaming, Envy are going to grab Cassie. And then let's see what they go. Eevee.
There we go.
They get it right back in their hands again.
I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. Just the denial, I think, is a really good thing. And not taking Barrack now is just to keep themselves more open, more flexible. You know, they don't want to just be giving up.
Yeah, because you know Space Station's not going to take Barrack.
Yeah, of course.
So if you need Barrack, like, I mean, what? You think, yeah, really? I mean, come on.
Really? Come on. Our first triple tank of the season. Let's go.
Air Trigger Barrack on Stone Keep. That's what I'm waiting for.
Then at that point, I'm like, wait, what game am I covering right now? Because I do not want to live in another triple tank meta. Okay.
I feel like SSG was trying to basically force them onto not necessarily optimal tank compositions here, but I do love Random Noob's Eevee. I think it's going to have the potential to carry off here and pop off. He just needs to play it right and play it smart, and you're going to see him do pretty well. So I'm glad that they've got this Eevee form to thrive on.
Yeah, and the rest of the composition, Random's going to have to play so well because Ash, Ruckus, Leon are all really good into Eevee. The auto aim to catch her during the fly, the rockets to catch her when she's getting out of the ice block. The Ash is just not super hard to hit projectiles. It's going to be applying more pressure than most compositions would into the Eevee.
Barrack and Maldamba secured for Envy, and Drogo's Space Station Gaming. All right, Bitey, which draft do you like better here?
I think that Drogo's punch is going to open up a lot.
It's gonna delete the Inara potentially.
Either one of them.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Okay, which one for you then, Kresnik?
I think I'm gonna give it to SSG because I think the Drogo's pressure and keep will be too much for them to take, and once they have keep, Leon's gonna do too much.
Do you think we're gonna see SSG in the finals?
I'm predicting that, then yeah.
All right, then. This could be it. We could have SSG in the finals. They are one step away, but Envy have an opportunity to bounce back here. Bitey's brought out the American flag bandana. He's rooting for NA. Let's see how this one goes down. Let's send it over to your casters one more time. It's Pretty Hair and Rain Day.
Well, Bom Dia, Brazil. I'm sure they're having a good morning or a good night, whatever time it is over there, because this is the moment the international scene in Paladins has been waiting for, Nick. They have tried tirelessly to make the impact that they wanted, and that is nothing less than a World Championship appearance. They are one game away from maybe getting there.
Sadak has never made it past this point. An international team never made it past 3 wins in the semifinals. I'm feeling good about this draft. They have a lot of power picks here. They have the momentum. All that Envy's got going for them is the map pick.
And they put FRZ God, one of the best, if not the best, damn it, player in the world on the Drogos. But it's up to Rubu and Rock Monkey to not let their story end here. Beautiful first blood on the Sadak, and that's going to start things off beautifully in the way of Envy. They have control of the high ground now, but it's about if SSG can take it back.
That's a little bit interesting. I mean, that's a quick death from Sadaka. That is not the way you want to start things off here. They're struggling to get pressure all across the keep now, and now there's a big opportunity for Random Noob. He misses one shot. He'll just play it safe. Move on back, but Sadak has rejoined the fight.
Bitey talks about it. The high skill cap needed to perform at this level with Eevee, but Random Noob takes the task on. He knows that he is going to put his team on his shoulders and either succeed and force this to a Game 7 or fail and end North America's hopes of their first ever finals appearance in the PWC.
This is really tough. I mean, even with Inara, Envy are not feeling like they want to get on there. Big salvo narrowly misses. Fire spit. Their group. FRZ God could punish this. Doesn't get the reset. That card looks like it's on ICD for the time being. Rock Monkey has penetrated the back line, though, of SSG. This is trouble. Midtow eats 2 bolts and 2 too many.
And he is lasered in right now. Sadak goes to the back line again, trying to just distract and buy time, but 57% and counting here for Team Envy. However, this is working. They're going to have to commit a member here to try to get rid of the Ruckus, and he is not going to go down easily, but that opens up the flank route so they can get back onto the objective, and it's not going to be a game over. FRZ got now with a Dragon Punch. He's going to turn it away. He gets 30% though, and now he is in a safe spot with the life exchange healing from Ying.
Random's forced out for the time being, but Rubu is picking up kills. That's 2 critical kills. First blood, and that pick across the map on Ares as well. FRZ God's in a bit of a spot right now. Ying ultimate is the only thing that's keeping this fight together.
Man, he better hope this tree trunk gets a little thicker because he needs to get some shots blocked, that's for sure. 93% for Envy. Space Station lose FRZ. Now Sadak trying to answer back, but Rock Monkey finds the double. He is locked and loaded. And Envy, they're not giving this one up easily. They're trying to push a Game 7, and at least they're getting Game 1s. This Game 6's first objective.
1 and 8, last game. Sean Boswell wants to live up to the reputation, but it's 99 to 99. Rubu putting the foot down. Ruckus is on the objective. Hexafire, emitter, but put in the dome shield. Sadak with nowhere to go.
See you later, alligator. He says, not now, and maybe not ever if it's up to Envy. They've got themselves back in the driver's seat, and SSG lose this point. But a defense, not the hardest thing to do on Stone Keep, Nick. This map definitely has a defender's advantage like most maps in Paladins, but Envy, if they keep this momentum, could be a deadly 2-0 here very soon.
But not every team has to worry about Rock Monkey looking through his eyebrows. That's dangerous territory here. Another Dragon Punch, another try. Just got to get value for this. This is a little bit repositioning here. And I'm noticing, I believe it's Fusillade this time for FRZ God, because I'm not seeing those dots come through. Sadak fighting tooth and nail here, but Rock is just going to gun him down.
And you know, this is an issue, right? It's the question, do you go Fusillade? This is the biggest game of Brazil's career in Paladins. This is FRZ God, Ares, the god of war from Brazil, their biggest game ever. And he goes for the Fusillade pick, which is valuable, but Combustible has been so in the meta lately, and this isn't 1-9. You know, they're still playing on the patch before it got nerfed, so this allows him to give up a lot of very valuable anti-heal and displacement. He's trusting his own rockets, Nick.
Ares has got to be big in this matchup, too. It's not all about FRZ God. Everyone in the semifinals of the World Championship has got to play lights out to move on. Rock Monkey manages to take down Rashao, answer back quickly. That's all you need. You just need to keep finding these answers. 1-for-1s, baby. That's all you need.
Random Noob is taking on this task in the Eevee, Nick, but I feel like he survived that entire round. He just bought a lot of time. He was such a distraction factor. Will that continue to happen? Because that's what they need in order for Envy to continue to win these points.
58 seconds now on the clock. Ultimate starting to pool. This is where you're going to see teams start to play a little bit different, especially Team Envy when they know so much is on the line here. This is the last game to give. They go home if they lose here, so they know every mistake is going to be costly. That's a big thing for Space Station. They can play a little bit more loose. Not much looser, but a little.
A little illusory rift, I guess you could say. Fox was up here channeling my inner pun from him, and I think 27 seconds left. It's a lot more than they need, but it may be a little less than they want, because there's still Rachao holding strong. Beautiful snake aimed at Rachao, but the shield blocks it. FRZ God goes down, though. Rock Monkey starting this off, and now Space Station Gaming handicapped with only 4.
Hey, 1 for 1, baby. That's all you need on the defense here. Respawns are going to come through much quicker for SSG than they are for Team Envy. 6 seconds on the clock here. Envy are playing with their positioning nicely. They have not gone past the choke point. They have not full committed to this try yet. Look at that. Inara toaster strudels herself up onto the top ropes here. She's getting involved.
And look at Rubu. He is taking so much damage after a while. Rachao just wins that battle. Envy and SSG going at it. It's a stalemate, at least in round 1. Still fighting for that chance at place in our finals tomorrow. But no one has found the breakthrough moment yet, Nick. Rock Monkey, as you said, staring through those eyebrows.
Yeah, when he's looking through the eyebrows, that's where things get a little bit interesting. Already entirely flipping his KD from last game in the first round of game number 6 here. Incredible stuff from the young Sean Boswell himself. That was way closer than I feel like it should have been, though. I have to say, it felt like Envy were just winning that the whole time.
Right.
But it's notable that, you know, Toki was not on the objective for a lot of that fight. They took their time. Envy were patient about when they put an R onto the objective. Not something we typically see. Normally, it's just blind point aggression for the Inara player.
1-1 here, 7 minutes gone by. Relatively long first round. They held to the very end and had a long point fight. Now Rock Monkey has a scout. He's going to get the vision. Where are they at? He knows Midtow's in the back line waiting to heal up. He's got a Ying clone, and that's a Dread Serpent. They sacrifice a lot to get rid of FRZ God. So what does SSG do in response? Do they hold the Ash ult? Nope. Up and down. She dunks her head, and now Rock Monkey forced to back off. So ult for ult, finding value. Sadak getting low. He's got the most deaths in this game, but somehow still alive.
Jukin zooming around the keep, trying to stay alive here, and Mac onto the point now. Can they keep it up? There's the illusory rift from Ying. There is just not enough spread pressure. Every health bar from SSG is currently full.
And now Ares on a 2 streak. You cannot let this death in taxes, Leon. Stay fighting. The 90% anti-heal, something that no one else can contend with. I don't care if you've got kinetics in the loadout. It ain't 90%. And now he's rolling with Sadak, so the backside is getting pressured out. Space Station Gaming, 51%, and they're starting to have a lot of pressure.
Seismic crash off the mark. Long distance. Ares finds a home for Enlightenment, but he's getting chased out by Eevee. He doesn't care. This man has been ice cold today. He's going to spray, and Rock Monkey finds the flank to put him in the dirt.
Out of nowhere, Rock Monkey comes through with the RKO, but look at this. FRZ God responds back, and he's got the fire spit. One more rocket, but that's Eevee blinking back. He doesn't want to test the God anymore. 48% to 72. Rock Monkey picks a fight, and they both back off. Envy still have a chance here, but SSG are in the lead.
Xiao goes down, fire spit one door, salvo the other. Looking a little bit messy here. Ares is in an ice storm, and he won't make it out. Random Noob is trying to fight for the win. Sadak drops the Hexafire on the objective. He's cleared everyone off. There's going to be a touch, but it's a 96 to 68% lead for SSG.
These are big shots, but who can get there? I think he's going to have a chance. Oh, he gets body blocked, but they lose Random Noob. Was it enough? It was the sacrifice to attempt no overtime, and they don't get it. Envy capture the objective, but just barely again. They're now 600 credits in the lead, and they have their second objective of the game.
There it is. Ares goes down at long distance as well. No ultimates on the line right now for, I believe, either squad. This one could be interesting. Just the base kits like we were at the very start of the game here. This one not going to be over yet, not in this round anyway. Even if Envy find the conversion here, they're only going to be up 3-1. They have got to find a way to slow down Rock Monkey. 12-2 in a round and a half is just too much to give.
This is about Sadak, Nick. I hate to call him out. What a great player. He was in this position and fell short. Almost fell a little too long there for Rock Monkey, but he fell short with Nocturne's Gaming, and he couldn't make it out of the semifinals. They went to Game 7 with Na'Vi, that time a European competitor. and he just couldn't do it, and now he's 1-7. Make that 2-7, but he's got to find more killing blows on the Ruckus. I think that's what he's there for.
I think so. I mean, this is a double aggro front line from SSG. The difference here, though, is that Team Envy are not playing a very standard Anar. They're using her tankiness unlike any other character in the game, and they're just running it down mid. They are going straight at SSG. Tolki is really starting things up for Envy.
And Nick, that was big. I mean, if he can find kills like that, especially on a random noob who's buying so much time for them, Space Station are going to have a lot of control. Another kill from Zadak. It's like he heard me. And you know, I got to say that SSG are starting to look a little bit better. They are zoning out much more than they did. Oh, the rocket midair. Step to the king. You only get one shot, so don't miss. FRZ God makes random noob pay.
There it is. Salvo's going to find some pretty good damage here as well. FRZ God, different style, like we mentioned. Fusillade here, not the combustible. So he's got to find these big connections on the front lines here, and that looks like that's the priority, right? That's what you would think, and that almost plays a little bit into the hands for SSG. I feel like if Tolki continues to be this aggressive, he is going to set himself up for some easy rockets for SSG.
Rock Monkey, just so much weight on his shoulders, considered at many points and definitely in the conversation of best player in the world, at least on a DPS side. But FRZ God and Ares, I mean, you can't say that they haven't matched or maybe outshone the boys of Envy, the dynamic duo. But Rachao jumps up and he doesn't come down. Random noob finds the shot, and now Ares, he's gonna fall. Rock Monkey, if he gets this one, it could be done, and it's 3-1 potentially on the board for Envy. That would put them, and it will put them, 1 point away from sending this to a Game 7.
And the dangerous thing is they didn't spend a dime for it. Every ultimate that they had at the middle of that round is still available now. Rock's coming up on Scout, Random's coming up on Ice Storm. SSG certainly on the back foot in this game. FRZ got the only one positive.
17-3?
He's popping off. He is absolutely going in. 2 squishy targets for him to penetrate the back line with, and his front line is making so much space, so much pressure for him to work with. He really hasn't had much to worry about, because like you mentioned, Zadak has not found a home in the back line.
I think if they get Rock Monkey here,
they have to adjust. They do not have pressure. They have to find a way to get it, or just the fact that they're giving it to Envy.
But that's part of the value of their lineup. I mean, Random Noob is not only relying on the space Rock Monkey's creating, but in his presence creating space for Rock Monkey. And there it is. You see the Toaster Strudel. Nara goes up top, and now she's going to land. And sometimes it is a little bit better to save that ultimate. Random Noob and FRZ got trade, but Zadak, big boy from LATAM, finds 2 with the Hexafire. And now you're right, they just need a stagger. That's 3 for Zadak. He has shown up ever since we said he wasn't playing well.
Stay on the point here. Comeback mechanic. SSG are capturing at light speed. Get that disc. I think throw a rocket in there. Yeah. Get someone off their horse. Make sure that you slow down Envy as much as possible. Rubu, unfortunately, has the dome shield, so they are not out of this yet.
And they're worried about the Inara. They don't know about the seismic crash, but they can assume, and there's the dome shield. 93% and counting for Space Station Gaming, but they are going to cede this ground. That's the smartest thing to do by far. There's Tolki. There's the seismic crash. This is go time. This is Game 7 for Envy on the line, and they just may do it here. A triple kill from Tolki, a quadra kill from the front line, and Envy aren't going home. Not yet, baby, not yet.
Run it down, son. The aggression we've seen from this Anar, it's unlike anything any other team has put together. Normally they just park her and leave her on the objective, but not today. Envy have shifted gears, and SSG were just not ready for the left hook.
Wow, what a game. For the second time in a row, this HRX will go to a Game 7 with a Latin American competitor. What a show.
I gotta say, first time since an additional map ban has been introduced. Bright Marsh is the only one left in the pool here, and that's where this home court advantage maybe starts to wane a little bit, right? Because it's not like we have a choice. We're going where we're going. There was nothing left in the pool for SSG. It all comes down to Bright Marsh.
Well, wouldn't you know it? One game will decide it all. North America or Brazil, it's a first for both. Let's send it back to the desk and get us ready for this epic Game 7.
Thank you so much, fellas. We're going to Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. What a game that was from Envy. But my goodness, and oh, wait a minute, it seems like Bitey showing his bias here on the desk. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're just going to carry on as normal.
That's right.
Everything is normal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Everything is normal in this world. Okay, great. Seriously though, fellas, what a game that was.
Every one of those mid-fights could have gone either way.
Seriously.
100%. The ults, how many, it was like, I wrote down 9 ults used on the first mid-fight. I don't even know if that's accurate because I just looked at the, I just kept hearing ults going off and I'm like, I can't keep track of all this.
Trying to like write it all down.
It went so long. Everybody got their ults. Like, everybody was using them. Some people were close to their second ones. Like constant countering and constant just trying to initiate. Just both teams were absolutely brawling at their best.
Mind-blowing stuff there, but here's the Axis Replay post-game stats, and you have Rock Monkey, who just again and again and again is that difference maker for this team. I mean, I can't speak better of him, and we praise him so much throughout this entire set, Bitey.
Well, you know, Rock Monkey always performs, but honestly, the true guy who made plays and did an unconventional style is the Inara Tolki. That was a cripple boot with the wall launcher. Now, this is something that you don't see very much in PPL because usually everybody wants to live. They want to get their mother's grace and just guard up and go for it. But this is something that is really unique to Tolki. He picked his Inara, and he even went wall launch, and he's just making space. I'm going to put a bet, and I bet he better get player of the game because the stuff he pulled off right at the end there, that quadra kill, I mean, the guy deserves it. That was phenomenal.
Everyone was making plays, but yes, I agree. You typically think of the Inara as point presence and point presence only, but to see an Inara just push up on the front line, like really owning the role of front line, right? And getting in there with the damage, I love that kind of stuff.
The cripple Inara was so good into both tanks because Sadak loves to, as someone who's played against Sadak, they love to pinch, and he wants to get in the middle of your team and split you and get that one kill before he trades out, and then his team will trade the rest of you, right? But the cripple Inara, Sadak can't get away with what he wants to do on that champion, and the Ashe too. She can't really dash out. She can't really get away with any of the trades that they want to do. Cripple Inara just completely nullifies that.
What a game that was. Game 7. If you're Na'Vi, you have to be feeling pretty good right now, seeing these teams kind of slug it out like this. Bitey, your thoughts?
And I feel like SSG just, you know, you don't see what I like to call the boot, you know, the big Inara boot that locks you to the ground. A Ruckus player and an Ashe trying to deal with that off the start, like, it's just really hard. I mean, even Kresnik, you've played against it. It's like, oh man, I'm stuck.
Yeah, just Inara standing right in your face. You're just doing a little bit of damage. You're like, hey, can anybody? No? We're on the other side of the map? All right. Well,
can somebody shoot this rock, please? This boot's got me.
Can you guys talk on the other side of the map?
Tapped with the rock wand, you know, just love taps.
Just
over
watching
there.
your health slowly go
deplete
down.
as time goes on. All right, so we're here. This is the world we're in. We're going to Game 7. It all comes down to this. Every draft, every ban, every play, every map, none of it matters now. None of it matters. All that matters is this right here to go to the grand finals and face off, against Na'Vi. Borker is excited. I'm excited too. What do we got? What do you think? I mean,
it's so hard. Like, this is everything that you train for, and it's like now it's almost like a game of stamina. You know, like maintain your mentality, maintain your attitude, maintain your presence of mind to just keep going forward. And you know, this is just like last year with the last LATAM team that came through. Now it's SSG. It's like it's destined for greatness. You know, either team who comes out of it, I love both of them. You know, I got my little flag on, but they've played their minds out, and honestly, the best team is going through.
Yes, the battle of the Americanos certainly has not disappointed. You must be kicking yourself.
I forgot about that already.
You forgot about that.
You.
No, we didn't. And I hope that pretty hair in rain day owned the battle of the Americanos.
Remember that? Your mom in the car 20 years later. Oh, remember that when you were in fifth grade? The battle of the Americanos.
Remember when he said those things? Oh, okay. I mean, yes, in Latin America, that region is constantly impressed. This is like a matchup of grand finals proportions here. That's what we have fighting.
Just imagine what Puliuli's going through.
Yeah.
And Sadak. Yeah. I mean, there's so much emotion writing for these two. Like, they've come here before. They're seeing it happen again. You know, I would hate to be on the position where they finally lose it, but this is where it all comes out. You know, for these guys, they've merged together to create these amazing teams. And it's just like, I want to see it happen, but like, God, I really want Envy to pull through.
I feel like no matter what, we are going to be treated to an incredible game of Paladins, without a doubt. Bright Marsh is the battleground. Map 7. It all comes down to this. And what a map as well.
Yeah.
Bright Marsh, I mean, close quarters, lots of great point fights. Like, this map has a little bit of everything. Some good flank routes. Oh my, I don't even know what we're going to see in the picks and bans.
Huge play potential on this map. It's easy to slip by, to get a point touch like in the G2 Fnatic set when the Inara just zoomed right past everybody. There's great ways to do setups because the map's kind of compressed in a way where you can have everyone move together. Grok, we can see Grok. He can fly. How can he fly?
How can they beat the flying Grok? I just have no idea what to expect here.
Somebody's going to get Eevee.
Someone's going to get...
I'm going to call it right here. Oshi could get banned.
All 6
Wouldn't
games,
that be wild? Because the Eevee has been just dominant the whole set.
Yeah.
Why don't you ban her?
But what do you ban? Like, what do you allow? For
No, just let something in. You know,
both of these...
just get rid of
Whatever
Eevee.
it is.
She's been winning. How about you get rid of her?
Yeah?
I don't know.
This is
too
when
much
you guys are
pressure.
learning about Bitey's throw a dart at the board and see what to ban strategy.
So we know what Bitey will be like in comms, in a game 7, and then you're like, what do we do? Just ban even. Whatever.
Why not, right?
Let's do it.
She's won a lot.
She's won a lot.
Powtech, what's the stats on her win? 100? Ban it.
I've actually been in a game for Bitey's draft strategy. He's laughing because it was we load into the game. He's like, all right, what's the weather like? And I've never played with him before. He's like, what's the weather? I'm like, what does that mean? What are we banning, Bitey? What is the weather? What do you mean, what's the weather?
Like, this is all before Pain became brain of the draft. You know, we used to communicate with this legendary technique called the cloud. Okay. And, the cloud, it could be cloudy, it could be rainy, it could be clear. There might not be any clouds. And
so what do you do if it's clear?
Well, those are those drafts we don't usually talk about. Powtech can tell you, he's out in the crowd somewhere. I saw him on camera.
Oh my goodness, Bitey never ceases to amaze me. You got your grandfather's father working timber mill, your mom's chilling on Serpent Beach, which conveniently is your backyard.
Front yard.
Your
She works from
grandfather's
home.
also at Splitstone Quarry. There's just a lot. There's so much going on here, so much to unpack. And luckily we have another day here at HRX to do so. But for now, though, enough about Bitey's lineage. It's time to go into the Game 7 picks and bans. And first up, it will be Fernando. Spacestation Gaming don't want them to have that. Makoa will be gone for Envy.
Yeah, the Fernando ban is really good to, like I said before, deny that pressure from the house side, like the yard side. He's the best for going in there, getting Scorch lineups in that house. Denying that means that they maybe want to...
The Cassie ban.
You don't like to see it happen, but they pulled it out.
Okay, so the Cassie ban, that's a real stable champion that's now out. Rock Monkey has been a pain in the neck for them to deal with, so they say, you know what, no takes.
I will fight to protect the
We're gonna take
sanctity
this.
of the wild.
And they take the Inara first, which I can't really argue with.
Yeah. She's been such a safe pick in this entire event. It's like your standard. You get a Nar, you have an okay frontliner, or you can pull it out like Tolkien and just start running in with the boot.
But then Khan is grabbed
Still open.
on Envy's side.
And Khan is really good at dealing with the Inara on point, because you can just pull her through the window. I mean, she will compress to go right through that to go into Khan's hand and throw right off the map.
Yeah, Khan and Leanne working together.
Right now, Envy has the better comp for the open side. 100%, because I mean you can't really contest the Inara on point, not with what's remaining. So they have the Khan to boost the Leon to win the poke fight over there, and then take their house, get that line of sight to their stairs that lead to their docks, and just own that side.
Where's the spice though? Where's the spice? Where's the content?
Bitey's not drafting.
Bitey's not drafting, right? So that
You gotta get a good base before you add spice, and I mean that's what you're kind of looking at right here. Is SSG just built a foundation right here? You got Ying, Ruckus, and Nara. I mean those 3 champions have done amazing things so far, so there's nothing wrong with picking them, but it all comes down to what are the damages that are coming out. Are we going to see the Eevee go to SSG, or is it going to go over to Envy? And I think it really depends here.
and Envy have grabbed the Eevee.
And this is interesting.
71% win rate, by the way.
God, they're probably all from these two teams, honestly. The Leon is a champ that it can pop off in like when kind of uncontested, but there's no way SSG's not going to contest Rock Monkey, so this might be another Victor situation for him where it's more just like putting out that consistent damage, and now it's going to be on random to show up, which thankfully he has been the rest of this set.
Yeah, letting him just clean it up, put the damage, clean it up. All right, the draw goes for Space Station Gaming.
And it's just, what was the last one?
Yes, Talus. There's the spice.
Yes.
There's the
Sprinkle
spice.
at the end.
A little picante at the end there. Where's Bees? I need the Tabasco sauce. And then Barrett comes out at the end. All right, this is it for all the marbles. Bitey, I want you to predict who's going to win.
I predict America on top. The Americanos on top.
Okay, safe prediction there considering both of them are in America.
I predicted the South Americanos.
Okay, the South Americanos. Here we go, folks. It's the final matchup of the semifinals. Let's send it over to your casters. Let's get hype. Let's get loud. It's about to go down.
Let's get it. It's time. Game 7 on the line. All the marbles and Envy and Space Station have battled their hearts out, Nick, but only one can go through.
It's time to collect these carbs, eat this yeast. It's
Get
time
this
to get this bread, baby.
Ooh, let's get it.
Game 7 of the semifinals here. SSG, my goodness, what a run it has been for them all the way from the placement rounds to where they stand now. Game 7 against Team Envious. Sadok's been here before, but the rest of these guys got to remain ice cold.
Let's get it. It's time. Nobody else has any room for excuses. It is time to do it now. Bright Marsh, the home of the Volpines, is going to be the home of a future potential world champion here in Game 7. Let's break it down with the players as we've got Combustible for FRZ God, Firing Lion Khan as you'd expect. And man, this Talus running inner strength, Nick, that's the question mark. That's the spice at the end, the picante, as Golden Boy told us. What do you think about that?
He's the X factor. He goes off. I think that's how SSG win this game. If he doesn't, that's why they lose. Random Noob and Aries boxing out here. I'd like to see Aries be pretty focused, though, I think, on this double shielding front line. When he gets these wreckers on later, it's easy pickings for him.
You got to watch out here. And Rock Monkey not on the Cassie. That's also something to look at because he's going to have to pop off on this Leon. Random Noob has been fantastic on this Eevee, but Space Station very wary of it right now. 42% and counting still. First blood goes to Aries, though, and now this Talus might be able to snowball.
And he's out. Big opportunity here for Aries, I think.
Oh, no.
There's a
See you
lot of
later.
lockdown here going through the con shield. In and out. Doesn't have his rune to travel down. He knows it. Now he does. Can get aggressive here. Sadak, I believe, stunned up on the high ground. It makes it nice and easy for Rock.
And you see Talus going in and then backing up with the Rune of Travel. He can go and use that teleport just to create space, and it allows a bit of time for the front lines, but headshot after headshot. Ring-a-ding-ding. Rock Monkey saying hello to the rest of SSG who are not watching out for the sign of Alpsycho.
They just gas pedal down Rashao as well. You gotta expect a big game here from FRZ God on the Drogos. It's his second game with it in a row.
Right.
He has got to have an impact. That was such a pop-off performance from Team Envy last time. No one from SSG really made a splash, but this is it. Win or go home.
100% on the overpower. There's the Ice Storm as well, and FRZ God sees it. Zadok finds the kill there. SSG have to turn it around.
Dragon
and
Punch.
fast. FRZ God helps get the elimination. Zadok with a double kill, and FRZ God's gonna help him get the triple kill. He finds it. SSG, point 1 to Brazil.
It's Sadak, baby. He's been here before. Ruckus is his favorite character. I don't see him letting it slip this time. He has come too far. He has worked too hard, gone through too many teams to let this go.
2 minutes, 14 seconds now. The push could spell a really nice setup here for Space Station Gaming. Team Envy, though, trying to hold as best they can, but the Barrack has felt a little bit malleable here. I think they're getting through that shielding more than maybe Tolkien and Rubu would have expected when they went for these front lines, and now look at that as we speak of it. So he falls. Aries as well, the Brazilian god of war, helping to make this an easy clap. Double kill for Talus. And the Scots Ren continue being tricksters.
I mean, he is the X factor here, and what a start he has had. That was my biggest question mark. He played phenomenally at the placement rounds, but that was without a doubt because FRZ God was just hard carrying that game. He had so much freedom. That's not really been the story. This time, Aries has kind of had to do it all on his own. Biggest thing I want to see from him is smart, true power usages to lock down this Eevee.
Nick, they pushed!
No!
It's 2-0!
Envy SSG. What is going on there? Tolkien falls, and the payload just rolls right through. Big mistakes there from Envy.
And it's Sadak who finds that kill. This man has 4 kills, and 4 is a special number. There were 4 teams remaining, and it was a Game 7. Last time this man went home, he traveled with his team, Nocturnes Gaming, who became free agent boys, and they just couldn't put it together. They didn't even qualify, but luckily, signing up as a coach for SSG put him in the position to when their player couldn't make it. Spexy, he got a chance to play, and look at what he's done in Game 7 to put Space Station in a position to go to the place he never could with his old team.
Such a quick round, too. Rubu caught one, random caught one. He'll be able to get the caught 2 now online. Tolkien off the mark as well. The item advantage, the momentum advantage, everything looking good for SSG.
Uh-oh, overpower. See you later. Sadak tries to get back on, but the angle is too good. That is an easy kill. Now 4v5. Space Station playing a little more aggressive than you would have thought. Rubu is there, but does he maybe bite off more than he can chew? Gets punched back up into space? I guess that's a Space Station gaming technique, and it seems to work fine. Tolkien grabs the dome shield, and now Ares goes down.
Rashao is not giving an inch. Salvo rips out onto the objective. 99% on the Dragon Punch as well. Getting close, almost ready to pop this one off, and then that will make an easy take back for SSG. Comeback mechanic for Envy, though. SSG do not have the luxury of time.
This is the most important point so far of the Paladins World Championship, you have to say, because if SSG win this,
game point.
It's game point, essentially. They can push and win, and Random Noob has to stay alive. And there's the Terrace Ultimate. That's got to find a Mick. I don't know how he doesn't, but he stays alive. And here's Sadak, another Exafire, but he goes down right away.
Dropping the thunder in the back line. Enlightenment's ready to go. Rock Monkey's looking through the eyebrows. He finds one. Rock looking for 2. He finds it. He wants all 3.
Rachel says hello, and Rock Monkey says goodbye. Slides out, and now it's FRZ God's turn, but he misses the fire spit, the combustible. It will not land, and that is enough to secure the objective for Team Envy. And this means that they will have a moment to get themselves together and just see if things can get better on this point fight, because they've looked shaken. They've looked stirred.
FRC God has got to find a way to have bigger impacts. He lands that Dragon Punch there. I don't know how Random Noob survives that true power. I'll be completely honest. I am stumped, perplexed, whatever you want to call it. I've seen a lot of games of Paladins, and I cannot put my finger on how he manages to survive.
It has to be the immediate moment. A 300, maybe 375.
Does he get a battle shout or something?
Burst heal from Mending Spirits. That's the only thing I can think. And he gets above 600, immediately ice blocks. We have to see the replay. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody bailed him out there.
Incredible play from Envy.
Whoever it was, they saved his skin a couple of times today. Rubu and the boys were finding a couple in the back line here. I think this is a lot of strategy going out the window. This comes down to who just keeps their cool. Both of these teams have drafts that can absolutely win the game, but at this point, you've got to just play correct.
Killing spree for Rock. Envy trying to push, but they are in their back half. So that was really more than a half-court defense. That was a full-court press from SSG. And FRZ God happy to take advantage of that. Combustible Drogo's players want to play behind the lines. They want to hit that fire spit that you're going to see there. Luckily blocked by Rubu's shield from Khan, but he wants to stay safe. If he gets aggressed on, and there's not a lot of great champs to do it except the Eevee on Team Envy, he's in trouble. But this is a guy we're considering one of the best, if not the best in the world right now, Nick.
This is a little bit scary for Team Envy, because I don't see how they win this game from the front line. There was so much wrecker, so much shield shred ability. FRZ God starting to come alive. There's 2 for him. And this defense has looked rock solid because of that blunder in the first round. SSG are in a position to go up 3-1 on this defense. If they don't have to spend any ultimates, they would be on game, set, and match point.
One objective could be remaining, but let's not count our chickens before they hatch. And this is Team Envy we're talking about. These guys have done incredible things this year in Paladins. They started out in Vegas beating the best of the best in that tournament and just putting it North America on the map for the first time. And they've now gone to a Game 7, the World Championship. This is something that's incredible for the region. And Envy, no matter what shakes up, have done this tournament proud.
Harry says one more time, may I have this dance? And too many flankers just walking up to the supports without even having to spend cooldowns here. Both these healers got to get their heads out of their butts and watch their backs, because this is not the time to give up a pick like that.
How are their heads in their butts if Rock Monkey keeps hitting headshots? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You know, it's a tactical outplay. It's a high-level maneuver, and it's certainly risk, because you risk getting stuck like that.
Yeah, you do risk it.
Just like Mama said.
I wouldn't know from experience, but I can imagine that you might have a little hard time getting out of there as well. Ares with the spray on the Leon. He's facing one of those, maybe one of the best in the business. Overtime ticking away now. Maybe trying their best to push through. And do you gamble the old snake? Space Station Gaming have them all. And already the Enlightenment has been used. Is this going to be it? Do Envy use the Dome Shield now that they have the man advantage? Tolkien is so low, but they are slowly trudging through the dirt. And they step away.
What?
And it's defended. And that moment right there might have made the difference in a world championship.
I mean, the only thing I see, there's no front lines around. Mr. Hayes looked like he was right there. Seriously, 2 blunders now on the objective for Team Envy.
Let me rephrase this so that we're not bashing on them. Do you think maybe that was intentional? They said, you know, touch if you can. If not, let's just not waste ults. Let's not push.
They were just.
I think they're playing safer.
There. I mean,
yeah.
They were just so close. I don't see. I mean, Hayes looked like he was physically touching the payload. But there is, you know, obviously there's a lot of line of sight breaks right around that corner for Brightmarsh. That's one you just got to put behind you again. SSG maybe given a little bit of a gift here. Ultimate's definitely online for them. They use the Illusory Rift just to hold there. And Envy have everything available to them as well.
Capture the objective to win. Space Station Gaming. They can do it. Something that's never been done for South America. It's make a finals of the Paladins World Championship. 30% counting, that's a good way to start, but Ares gets blinked on. Random Noob doing his job, and the Ice Storm, the Eevee, will make it out. FRZ God still on the battlefield, though, and Rachao just gives the space back up to Team Envy.
It's just one kill, still sitting on the Dragon Punch, maybe waiting for this Illusory Rift, but again, not the luxury of time this round. Random Noob, he's been so good. He's hitting every shot on a flying, moving target as well. Here it comes, True Power, Dragon Punch, what'll it find?
They're trying to go for it. Space Station Gaming, they want the win. He's waiting at the door.
2, 3!
There he is, the rocket! Are you kidding me? FRZ God makes the play, but what can he do after it, Nick? There's still more to be done.
Absolutely, 81-60 on the objective. Rock's gonna take the baton, pick up the slack, and Team Envy will stay alive.
I can't believe that moment of individual skill we just saw, but it was trumped by the immaculate play of Team Envy from a team perspective. They are not giving this up, and now if they push, they can tie. They've got the momentum, and they just have to hold on to it.
So many questions for Team Envy. Do we spend our ultimates here? How do we play this? They cannot end the game in this round. I think they maybe just want to slow play this. If that's what they ended up doing in the first round, if that was the cause of that, you know, surprise defense being held, that's what absolutely they're going to look to do for the rest of this game. They won't go for the throat until it's over.
What a great performance. What I'd give to cast every set like this. 2 great competitors, tooth and nail, countering each other left and right. Rock Monkey, though, has started to wake up, and that's scary. Random Noob, he's been alive this entire time, and though Eevee's small, she is a giant in his hands as far as pressure and potential. 1:30, and now that is almost a full wipe for Space Station, so Team Envy are rounding the most notorious choke in Brightmarsh with a full 1.5 minutes to tie this game up.
How can they do it, though? SSG, like I said, pressure's not on them here. They cannot lose the game here. So it's all about the ultimate economy. They have to force Envy in a spot where they feel like they need to ult. They cannot afford to let Envy score this offense without spending anything.
Rock Monkey trying to continue to hold on to that title of best player in the world. And Random Noob looks closer and closer to stealing it, Nick. I think he's going to finish this off. FRZ God just basically barely makes it back into the base, and they've got time still for one potential pull, but Space Station Gaming have looked flustered. They do not look like they're ready to deal with this.
What do you do? What do you spend? Do you spend? How do we play this? Rachao finds the first kill. Wow. No ultimates are being used here. Everything held for the time being. FRZ God, which another fire spit. Salvo loosed into the back line. He'll find some damage here. Ares is struggling. Talus not really effective here down the stretch on Brightmarsh.
And you know what? I think you just save it. I think Envy have got this one. I think they're going to tie it up here unless something incredible happens. And getting Random Noob would be that. Sadak trying to find it. He was here before, but this time he will fall yet again. I think Envy are going to push this through. In fact, they will. Certainly, the contest is going, but it's not much. 3-3. Game 7, 1 point will send someone to Worlds.
10 ultimates, 10 players, 1 payload. Whoever gets it goes through. Whoever fails goes home. 18-4 for Rock Monkey. You got to shout out Rubulu down the stretch, and the fact that Envy as a unit are able to complete that offense without spending a single ultimate. 2 big blunders on the payload, but when it matters most, they stay strong.
The patience of these players to go through all 7 games and still give their heart out, still match toe-to-toe. I mean, I'm impressed just watching them, and this has been a privilege to cast. Nick, somehow we always get the good ones. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, the non-final. There's always
we always get the good
non-final set that's just lit, and we always manage to scrape it up.
I ain't mad at it, though. I ain't mad at it, that's for sure. Random Noob on a 10 streak here. What can he do? He's going for the Ice Storm. We saw it in his eyes, but he decided to back off. Will that indecision come back to haunt him? Richao with a seismic crash, but Tolkien already finds the kill. There's the Ice Storm. There's the overpower. If anything, it's overkill, but they do at least take down FRZ God.
Everything landing for Team Envy. SSG have not found a foot in this round. Aries manages to take one with him, but it's the 5-for-1 sweep, and I'm sure Envy are happy to take that any day of the week.
And you know what? He doesn't get the dismount. He wanted the Inara dismount, and he doesn't get it. Can Space Station Gaming come back from close to defeat the jaws of death and take their spot in the Paladins World Championship? Still 63% and counting, but here's the Dragon Punch to tell it all.
It's game time. What do we find? FRZ God, he's looking a little bit shaken, though. The second he takes damage, he pulls off.
But Envy have fallen back, Nick. Is this a problem? They still have the true power from Talus, and the overcharge is ready. Whoever makes their way into that room is going to get hit with a storm of bullets from the Veracharger, and it's 87% for Brazil.
It's time to dance. Aries says, may I have this one? Goes into the overcharge. He's got one more round.
True power. It's got to happen here. 96%
Mr. Hayes,
counting.
watch your back.
Envy are looking good, but SSG have good positioning. FRZ God, is he going to go down? There it is. He's going to the point. He's got a touch.
He does. He gets it off there, but the overtime is looking a little shaken. SSG, Sadak, he got this far last year, and this looks like it'll be the finish line for him again.
It looks like Envy have punched their ticket to Worlds. They're going to the finals. North America has made it. But we'll see if they can make it tomorrow against the defending World Championship Na'Vi. What a game, what a set. Nick, hats off to both of these teams.
I mean, they come through in that final round there. They strike first, and they really, really do a good job at absorbing the counter, the take back from SSG. They don't get a lot done with those ultimates, the boys in black and yellow, but it's all smiles, all hugs. I'm sure SSG holding their heads high.
And you know, Envy have been on such a long road. We mentioned Vegas. That was the start of a team that looked immaculate, untouchable, and almost the European North American team, right? The ability to just draft well, draft consistently, play on every map, and have players who are stars compete at the highest level. Space Station Gaming, what a performance. But again, South America will fail right at the edge of the doorstep, and it will be North America's turn to face and take down potentially the European juggernauts of Na'Vi tomorrow. Let's send it back to the desk and break it down.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Excellent cast, but most importantly, excellent matchup that went the distance. Space Station Gaming have nothing to be ashamed of. They left it all out there. They did everything they could, and it came down to the absolute wire. It could have gone either way. Welcome back to the Alienware Analyst Test, folks, as we break down Game 7 and really what was an incredible best-of-7 semi-final matchup between two exquisite squads. You got Kresnik and Bitey here. I mean, that was amazing. Yeah. Simply amazing.
100%. It really came down to it. You can go.
There's like nothing to say, really. When you look at this, it's such an emotional rush. You know, I'm out there just standing on my edge just watching this game because, you know, you have so much emotion from these two teams just invested. And then all of it coming up to the final 3-3. And literally, it was still anybody's game till that very last few seconds on the point where we knew that Envy locked it in at last.
Yeah, and honestly, the real difference maker there for me in the end was the nerves. You can tell the way they executed that last fight.
Yeah.
They didn't need to. Richao did not need to leave the point to use that seismic crash. He could have fired that from the point through the window. and hit the same thing, but instead he walked off point because he's like, I'm going in, I'm sure it's in Portuguese, I'm going in, and then he pops the ult in the dome shield, burns to death, and that trade, honestly, it made the fight go in advantage of Envy.
Yeah, Envy, and if you make that, mistake, Envy will take advantage of that. That's exactly what they did. Let's look at the Access Replay post-game stats for Game 7 on Bright Marsh. And I mean, Rock Monkey again. If you had to say a series MVP, I would probably give it to Rock Monkey for what he managed to accomplish. Despite the champion, he still was such a factor. Every single freaking game. It was unbelievable. And then on the other end of that, I also want to give a shout out to Sadak for just really standing true when he needed to. That Ruckus, he had a comfort pick, and he played that pick very well. There was really there's nothing I could really say negatively about Space Station Gaming or Envy. Yeah. They won. It literally just came down to that final fight.
Yeah, and I mean, you can just see it in the players' faces, there's just the outpouring of emotion, one side's feeling jovial and just great. The other one's got that, it's a tough one to lose. When you go all 7 and you finally drop it, you've got a lot of weight to think about, because at the end of the day, it's just little plays, I should have done this instead. This was me. Right here, it was you, and you're just thinking about these things going through your head. These kind of games, it's for me, it's like the absolute thing that I want to watch, when everybody goes all the distance, and just to see it like play out, there's not much you can say about anybody doing anything right or wrong. It's just, this is Paladins.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I hope that they don't point fingers. I hope they don't point the fingers at themselves, really. I know that you have to analyze what they did right, what they did wrong, and so on and so forth. But in moments like that, when it's just left or right, like 50-50, you don't even know what's going to happen either way. Like, there's not much that you can do in that moment. You can't go back in time and be like, I should have done that differently. No, there really isn't, right? Because you were in the moment. You made the best possible choice that you felt that you could make, given the circumstances of the situation. You don't want to put your team in a bad position there, Chris.
Yeah, no, talking to them, I'm sure, having spoken to them across multiple lands at this point, I have a feeling they're not going to be pointing fingers too much. I'm sure they felt like they've proven themselves and the Brazilian region on a grand scale after a match as insane as that one against a team as good and storied as Envy.
Yeah, it's very clear that South America, that region, yes, whether it was Nocturnes last year, whether it was Space Station Gaming this year, clearly this is a region that contends in Paladins. But we have to praise our Steel Series MVP, and it is going to be the Khan player for Envy, Rubu. Khan being a force in this game. We saw what this particular champion can do to a squad that's unaware. But I guess talk to me about Rubu. You know, as a tank player, support player, like what is that Khan player? What is that like? What does Rubu bring to the table?
So I would honestly say this was a pretty hard Khan game with the Drogos and the Talus both trying to just melt your shield and give you punches. Like it takes a revolutionary player like Rubu to really put this all together into a perspective where it's like, wow, he honestly earns that, because you know there was an instance where Talus was trying to punch somebody who was low. He gave the shout and forced that target to be switched onto something else. And those kind of small, minute decision-making things that he's done, like that really shows, you know, Rubu is a master of front lines.
Yeah, and they had a great comp to punish when they had pulled him. Like if he went for an overpower, the Talus can just walk in and melt him. Like Talus is one of the best counters to an overpower if timed right, and Rubu was able to play around that. I know on the second mid they used the overpower to hard counter the Sadak flank. Like he just played that masterfully.
And the Talus was the late pick. It was literally the last pick for Space Station Gaming.
The Picante.
So the Picante. So they had to, they needed to play around that. They had no choice to play around that. Credit to Rubu there. That's why he is your Steel Series MVP. But that does it. That does it for this game, this series. What a matchup it was. But I do want to hear from the players in the back, get their thoughts on how that game went. It was a slobber knocker.
Gentlemen, what a war. Congratulations. The last hope for North America. You didn't even make the cut for this tournament earlier in 2018 in January, yet here you are, the last hope for NA in the finals. Do your best to just summarize the emotions right now.
First off, I'd like to say tons of respect to SSG. They're great players. If we made one or two more mistakes that game, it could have been SSG in the finals. I just hope we get another set like that versus Na'Vi tomorrow.
And in terms of emotions, well, I think we've gone through every single emotion you could ever think of possible. I think we went through anger, doubts, happiness, joy, just full focus. Literally anything you could think of, we probably had in that set. That set was probably one of the most intense sets we've ever played. And once again, much respect to SSG.
On the topic of respect, I think everyone in the world has nothing but that for you both, and the three standing behind you, the four, including Metapusher, who does such a good job for you guys keeping your head straight. My question is this: you now have the banner of not just yourselves, but an entire region who has been really unsuccessful in dominating the way Europe has in Paladins. North America, you are the last hope for this country and for this area. How do you feel just in general about representing the hopes of a lot of people in NA right now, going up against the defending champs?
I got a lot of NA pride myself, and hopefully we can take this one back home for NA.
Personally speaking, from my own perspective, I don't really consider the whole last hope for NA as a factor in what I'm playing. We're all in it to win for HRX. Whether that's as the last hope of NA or not, it doesn't really matter to us. We're going to play our game, we're going to try to win, and that's all we're going to focus on.
You want to win it for the boys in blue, and that's very admirable. One question I have for you as well. Na'Vi, a team that you guys are very close with. These are your buddies, these are your friends. Does this help you being more familiar with them, or does this help them more being more familiar with you?
I personally think it's even. We talk a lot to each other during the season, off season, just throughout the whole time. So we're bound to bounce ideas off each other and help each other. So honestly, it's pretty even, whether it's we know them, they know us. We both know each other.
There's a lot of camaraderie here, guys. We can tell it's a band of brothers at this point. Talk to me a little bit about just the energy of this journey and kind of culminating here where you wanted. There was a lot of questions as to whether you would be at that final stage this year, but we know ever since Vegas and even before, this is what you were aiming for. You are finally here. You have done it. What's next? Do you think you're winning tomorrow, and why?
Finals are next, and then
we're gonna win it. Let's go, baby.
Just finals for now. Just looking at finals for now. That's all we got to focus on for now.
Gentlemen, congratulations. That was a war, but you came out on top. One set stands between you and being world championships. Go rest up. You've got the biggest battle of your life ahead of you.
Thank you.